it's Frog here. Hey, almost got it there. Need to practice doing those impressions. Those were neat. I like doing them. Got your cup of Joe. Hi, I'm Nunya. Welcome to your channel. I'm here to welcome anyone of an experience of wanting the higher power and the higher state of living. Positive. If you're looking for it, you found the right channel. I created this channel just for you and people of you. There are lots of channels up above to choose from to be able to explore into the fact of good information and powers that you may have. Just a variety of channels up there that go along with the senses and everything of becoming in a positive light. Hello! Welcome! I am Nunya. I was just explaining that this channel was created for people of a higher self-awareness and of a positive movement that's happening in the world right now. But it can be utilized for anyone the interest of a positive kind of living. Let me just drink. Hopefully you have your cup of Joe, and you don't have to chat if you don't want to. I'm going to read the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Oops, wrong way. I guess I could open it like this. There we go. And I am on the last of it. Thank goodness, because this was a hard one to follow and to say and all that. So I'm just going to wait a couple of moments, see if anyone else wants to join in, see if California's out there, and see if she wants to come back. I had to take a little bit of a eating break there and a little bit of family break, and then try to associate that with a community break along with the family break, trying to do two things at once. Because with this, you don't have very much time to be doing things that aren't of this. So I try to keep it involved in every chance that I get, whether it be it playing in the background of me visiting with people, and because it's very hard, because everything seems kind of still and fake in a way. But, you know, that's all part of living, and you have to live it in order to understand it. And once you understand it, then you're free of the skin. And if you don't believe that, just go to Fleur Brun's channel. She talks about it quite often, from my understanding, because she acts so natural. The 2 times that I did see her speak about that, about how she can basically heal herself, because she does believe that everything is fake. Probably, I would imagine, because that's what it would take in order to correct an error in your code. So I am trying to get there myself, and I just decided to take this channel along for the ride. Besides just highlighting channels, I thought I'd do that. Sit, chill, show you what I'm going through. Everything is recorded from, I think it was like day 1 or day 2, something like that, to show what it was like and what I'm like now. And I see it in myself whenever I go back in the videos and I watch myself and listen to what I have to say and try and figure things out, you know, because you do talk, and this is a good way for analytics. It's good in the fact that you're recording yourself, and you're able to experience more of the analytical side of yourself, to set yourself back and go, okay, well, let's ask you this, you know, because whenever you're in here, it's kind of hard to do that to yourself. So whenever I do these videos, it helps me, and I thought that it would help everyone else to see my way of doing things, uh, because there is nothing like that out there that shows how to do it. So I'm like a how-to in a way, I guess, to show how I'm doing it, and you may find some techniques of mine pretty thrifty. Don't know. It's all within you and what you know and what works for you. And that's been my experience. But I think it does highlight how I got there, and that's explore. Explore in these books, explore in real life, really live the positive kind of way, like look at things more positively and always think of your answers positively, always think of your responses positively. Every word, every thought has to be positive in order to live in a complete positive state, to become a sage. And that's my first step. And I know that a sage isn't in this world, it's in another world, and that's where I want to be. And then after that, I think I would want to become a quote-unquote angel, just someone who can be able to be 50 million places at one time and really take her powers or its powers to a higher level of a state of being. So that's where I'm headed. And I can't speak for anyone else who is experiencing this, just myself. So I always say we and our, but really it is all within yourself. But you get help from out there, and that's what this channel is all about, is getting help. There's tarot card readings, and in those tarot card readings, there's chill sessions that you can ask questions like afterwards. There's remote viewings, soul foods, gaming, just a lot of creations of people, and that's what this right here is all about, is showing that creativity for that higher self. Because a lot of us are sick of the Hollywood thing. We want something else. We want something true, something honest, something real. And this gives the higher purpose that. So I refrain from cussing. If you hear me cuss, please correct me if I don't apologize and if I don't explain to the kiddos that it is wrong. But you do make mistakes in life, but as long as you take those mistakes back and you analyze yourself and you make yourself better out of that, then I think you're all right. I just think that the curse words just make you look ignorant and stupid, like you don't know what else to say. So anyway, that is me, and that is the reason why I'm here today. And I'll continue to be here for as long as I am called. And we are on the addenda, in the addenda of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's way in the back, talks about yoga. So that will be my next step, is the yoga book, because that's where it is leading me. Because I have no idea of what this book is saying. Like, as of right now, the rest of what's left, I never read it. Anything in here, anything that I read, I've never read. So if I have trouble with pronunciations or what a word means, I work my way through it, and I understand what it means as I go through it. And I hope that you're that way, and if you are, welcome. You can sit with the reading. If not, I don't think that you're going to get much out of the reading, because I skip things like introductions and I butcher the words. I know I do, especially these yogi words. But I do like that word, Buddhahood. That's where I'm going, baby. I'm going to be a Buddhahood. I'm going to be part of it. And I'm so happy about that. Cheers to you. Every day I work towards it, and it's great. So we have 9 minutes in. Let me think. I guess I'll just go ahead and get started here in about a minute and a half or so, or about 2 minutes. Let me just find the place where I was at. I think I'll just reread, because I do that quite often so that I know. what I'm reading and where I left off, and it familiarizes me to where I left off. So I'll wait another minute. Unless, of course, you'd like to say something like, wait a minute, let me get a cup of coffee or what have you. But I'm going to go get my cup of coffee. It's right over here inside this room, so I won't be very long at all. Whew, sorry about that. Hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. In my readings, I will hold up the book whenever I'm ready to read. I'll try to hold it up as high as I can so that the people in the real world, well, not real world, but outside of this live chat will know whenever I'm ready to read. Whenever I start reading and I have to veer off. Oh no, I lost my page. Dropped the bookmark. That's okay, I can find it real quick. Shouldn't be that bad. Okay. And we're still on this word I know I'm chopping up. Tantricism. My book up. Some clue to the separable elements of the of consciousness as they manifest themselves into the intermediate state is gained from the significance of the tantric divisions into petals of lotuses or chakras. For example, the heart center, lotus, and anahata chakra is described as a red color lotus of 12 petals, each petal representing one of the chief elements of personality. Vritti as follows. 1. Hope, Asha. 2. Care of or anxiety, Shinta. 3. Endeavor, Shesta. 4. Feeling of mindness, Mamada. Mamada. There is no two M's, there's just one M. It's Mamata. Sorry. 5. Arrogance or hypocrisy, Damna. 6. Languor. Look that up later. It's Laquur. Vikalada. Hey, I pronounced Vikalada better than I did. 7. Conceit, Ahankara. 8. Discriminations, Viveka. 9. Covetousness, Lolada. 10. Duplicacy, Kappa Tata. 11. Indecision, Vidarka. 12. Regret, Anapada, or Anutapa. The throat center lotus, or Vishuddha chakra, so the throat. It's also called the Britisha, Bratistana, Bratistana, consist of 16 petals. The first 7 symbolize the 7 Sankrit's music notes. The 8th symbolizes the venom or mortality. The next 7 represents the 7 seed mantras, and the 6th is symbol for the nectar of immortality. Amrita, also called Amrita. Excuse me. To each of the 1,000 petals of the brain center lotus variously. Hello, second wheel. Hi, I'm Nanya. I am reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and I am in the last piece of that in the yoga section, and I will be starting up a yoga book after this one. I created this channel for people of a higher state of living. They want positive, and only positive is the way to a higher self in the higher planes. So this channel helps with that. So if you're of that, you're in the right place. Go take a look at your channels up above in this channel, because this is your channel. I created it just for people of the liking, or people who are interested in the liking. So welcome. You don't have to say anything. You can listen if you like. Don't mind. Get that all the time. Right now we're learning about the chakras in each chakra, and the colors, and the deities, and all kinds of stuff in here. Overwhelming stuff. But I'm just going to continue reading on to the next paragraph, and I hope you enjoy, or if you don't enjoy this, maybe you'll enjoy the channels up above, which has more than what I have. Because they are better at this than I am. A lot of people are. I am learning, so I am taking you with me on learning all this stuff, and I am new to it. I've lived it, but I didn't quite know what it was until about 4 weeks ago. All right, to each of the 1,000 petals of the brain center lotus, variously colored letters on the Sanskrit or Tibetan alphabet and other symbols are historically assigned, and this chakra is said to contain in potential state all that exists in the other chakras, of which it is the originator, or in the universe. Each of the Dhyana Buddhas, likewise, as elsewhere explained from a different viewpoint, symbolized definite spiritual attributes of the cosmos. Thus, Vairocana is appalled to be by the Tantrics or the Northern Buddhism, as the universal force produces or giving form to everything both physical and spiritual. Vajrasattva as the reflex of Ekshabya, Ekshabya is the universal force invoked for naturalizing by merit evil karma. Ratna Sambhava for the reproduction of all things desired. And Mitbaha for a long life and wisdom. Amagha Siddhi for success in the arts and crafts. And Vajra Sattva, in his purely historic aspect, all the other peaceful and wrathful deities of the mandala of the Bardo Thadal are said to merge or be contained. And then we're going on the mantras of words of power. Just let me check to make sure nobody. Oh, Jerry, hey. Sorry, it just came up. Probably while I was reading this. How you? Is someone else in chat? I think they just left. Someone has been watching and observing. They haven't said anything. Well, I just got back from chatting with the Mrs. Garden Thumb and hanging out with them for a while. I was going to go up live earlier, but then I had to eat, and then while I was eating, the live stream came up and it was them, and I decided to go in and chat for a while. But then I got blocked. I couldn't chat anymore. They blocked me. I'm just kidding. They did block me, but it was by accident. Chris didn't know who I was, and since my little icon is like it, whenever I was joking about something about a foot, I said, "All foot looking fun." He blocked me. And I kept trying to, and they had such a good panel too. I mean, everybody was in chat. Lunatic Dad. Gosh, it was such a good, a lot of great people in there. And I'm over there, hello? Hello? Send, blocked. I'm blocked. Hoping it'll come up just a little bit. Yeah, it's very hard in chat. And as soon as I get done with this book, before I go into the yoga book, I'm going to look to see what I can do for the Hangouts with this phone. And I'm going to see if there's a way that I can use Hangouts and do a call at the same time as I'm doing live stream. I haven't been able to do that yet. I've been looking, but I haven't really seen anything. So I'm going to take some time tonight to really look into that. Because it's much easier to just speak what you got to say instead of typing and then not mean, especially with me reading, you can just say something like that's not pronounced right. This is how you pronounce it. Yeah, I know. That's the hard part, is getting someone's email. But, my email is in my About section, so they can easily go in and just write me a message if they wanted to chat. So that would make it easier, but I don't know how to do that while I'm doing live. Like send out an e-bite, and I think you just got to get up on Hangouts. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at it. Because this other girl, she was doing it today, Maria. I think that was her. I don't know if she did it off a computer and then did it off a phone or what, because the live stream was cutting in and out at that particular moment for me. And it may do it now. I hate to say it, because anytime there's a lot of traffic going through the connection of the data, I'm unleaded. That's the best way I could. I'm down at the bottom of the barrel now. I've been watching everybody streaming and all that good stuff, and I done ate up all my good minutes. Now I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I still get unlimited, but it's just slower. I'm not scared, naked, and not afraid. Yeah, me neither. And all that's Jerry Runk, who's on chat, for those who are wondering. I always forget to say who the name is of who's talking. So Jerry, I'm going to try to get through this today. I've only got a little bit left. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. That way, if you wanted to stay for it, you can. Just that little bit. So I thought maybe an hour should do that. And then in between, that would be about 2 or 3 hours, just that little bit. 2 or 3 hours. But it's not just of me reading. It's if I see somebody come in and I want to greet them, and that takes time out of the reading. And then sometimes I have to reread because then I forget where I was at, and But I appreciate you coming along my ride. I know I'm disorganized and scattered, but sometimes that's what it takes to get there. Just do it. Just freaking do it and get it done in any way, manner, shape, form. But we are on the mantras or words of power. We just got done with the, and I know I'm going to chop this up, the tantricism. And he says, oh, naked truth. Yepers. He goes on to say, I do that all the time where it sounds so perverted. Thanks. I needed a good laugh of my own, you know, not just of somebody else's. So I hope you're having a great night yourself, and I'll get to reading. Paperwork. Mantras or words of power. You do. A clue to power or mantras. Hang on. Okay. A clue to power of mantras is referred to throughout the Bardo Dada lies in the ancient Greek theory of music, namely that if the keynote of any particular body or substance be known, by its use, the particular body or substance can disintegrate. Scientifically, the whole problem may be understood through understanding the law of vibration. Each organism exhibits its own each organism exhibits its own vibratory rate, and so does every inanimate object, from the grain of sand to the mountain, and even each planet and sun. When this rate of vibration is known, the organism or form can, by occult use of it, be disintegrated. For the adept of the occultism, the know of the mantra of any deity is to know how to set up psychic or gift wave communication similar to, but transcending wireless or telepathic communication with that deity. For example, if the adept be from the left hand path, that is to say, the black magician, he can by mantras call up and command elementals and emperor orders of spiritual being, because to each belongs a particular rate of vibration, and this being known and formulated as sound in a mantra gives the magician, I guess it's mantra, gives the magician power even to annihilate, ANNIHILATE. Let me go back. And this being known as the formulated as sound in the mantra gives the magician power even to annihilate by dissolution the particular element or spirit to whom it belongs. As a highwayman at the point of a gun compels a traveler to give up money, so a black magician with the mantras compels a spirit to act as it will. Vibration. Oh, I missed one. Sing your heart out, says Jerry. Vibration, the word, Jesus, voice tone. Is that what I've been hearing about the 432? Is that what they're talking about, Jerry? The hertz of 432? I think so. Hey, second wheel. Hi, I'm Nanya. We are just reading the Tibetan Book for the Dead. And we are on the yoga section in the very, very back. We're almost done with this book, except for the introduction. I went straight to the Book of the Dead and got done with all that, and now we're in the yoga section. So that points me and steers me to a yoga book next. This channel was created for people who are wanting to live of a higher positivity and a power to be. There's been an awakening that's been going on of truth. It kind of opens the door to a pathway of the higher self and helps you achieve that higher self whenever you find out more truths. And so that's why I'm reading all these books: Tao Te Ching, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and next will be the the yoga book. But this book was actually pretty cool. I'm going to read it again, and I think I might read it without being live. That way it gives listeners a chance to not have to fast forward through a chill session along with that, to where I have to keep stopping, because what I'm doing is that I'm trying to learn this, but I was called to be a welcomer to this community, not by anyone, but by a knowledge that over exceeds all of us. And so that's why I'm here and sitting here live right now, is to welcome newcomers to this higher plane of living. And I hope that you take advantage of the channels up above. And your channel here, I did create it for the community of people who like these things and want to explore them further, but are having trouble outside of the YouTube, this YouTube realm, to be able to take advantage of the fact that it's right here in one channel, and that there's a big old community out there waiting for you in this channel up above. There are small chat rooms, big chat rooms. It all depends on what you like. Just go up and see. There's some tarot card readers and everything. And Jerry's just talking away, so let me get back to Jerry here in his chats real quick. Don't see other chatters. I see two that are watching, two more other than you, Jerry, that are watching right now, and I just wanted to be able to welcome them. Mama said you better change your tone with me, young man. Head bell ring angel got its wings. Woo woo woo. Buddha hood. But that word is in this book. Buddha hood. It's my style of book. I mean, what old language uses Buddhahood? So welcome to your channel. Go ahead and take advantage of the channels up above, or you can sit here with me and read the rest of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. We're on the yoga part of the section in the addenda of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And we're just finishing up. I have this little bit to read, and it should be done within the hour or two, depending on how many people stop in, and I have to stop and welcome. You're more than free to welcome to chat like Jerry is. I peek up every paragraph just to see if there's a comment that I can read before I move on to the next. Unless, of course, I'm really into it, you know. Then I tend not to look up, right, Jerry? Heard. Okie dokie. Here I go. This is my sign for I'm reading again. I'm reading. Oops, and I lost my place. I did have my finger on it, but through my little gestures, I lost track. So I'm just going to start over. That's what happens whenever I do that. I have to start over. Mantra, words of power. It was nice anyway, seeing those words And I think I went over to the other page. Yeah. So I'm just going to read this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to start at the bottom of the other page. For the adept of occultism, to know the mantra of any deity is to know how to set up the psychic or gift wave communication similar to, but transcending wireless telepathic communication with that deity. For example, if the adept be of the left hand path, that is to say, a black magician, he can, by mantras, I think it's mantras, it's spelled mantras. I want to say mantras because I hear that word, but it's man, so that's why I keep saying mantras. Call up and command elements and infer orders of spiritual beings. Because of each belongings, a particular rate of vibration, in this being known and formulated as sound in a mantra, gives the magician power even to, there's that word again, annihilate by dissolution the particular element or spirit to whom it belongs. As the highwayman at that point of a gun compels a traveler to give up money, so a black magician with the mantras compels a spirit to act as he wills. On account of this supreme power of sound, when formulated in mantras corresponding to the particular rate of vibration of spiritual beings and of spiritual and physical forces, the mantras are jealously guarded. And for the purpose of maintaining this guardianship, lines of guru, i.e. religious teachers, are established in whose keeping the words of power are placed. Candidates for initiation to the brotherhood of the guardians of the mysteries must necessarily be well tested before the treasures can be entrusted to them, and they themselves in turn be made guardians. Unto the Shishra, after he has been well tested, the mantra which confers power over the sleeping goddess Kundalini, is transmitted. And when he utters it, the goddess awakens and comes to him to be commanded. This is the need of the Guru great, for the awakened goddess can destroy as well as save, according as the mantra is wisely or unwisely used. As the outer ear vibrates to gross sound, the inner ear, also called the prana vayu, are set in motion and utilized by the use of the sounds of the mantras. The goddess first catches up the subtitle occult sound and the tones of the divine music. She causes it to ascend from her throne, in the root support psychic center to one after another of the centers above, until its music fills the lotus of 1,000 petals and is there heard and responded to by the Supreme Guru. Ooh. And Jerry responds with right wing, left wing, same bird, get on straight gods. You're holy. Hopefully I read that right. I know all these deities and right-wing gods, and yeah, to me it's all, I think it goes into your head. I mean, I think if your intentions are well, like I'm reading and I'm chopping this up, like these names, I know I'm not pronouncing them right. But I don't think it matters. I'm reading it out of love, and I'm trying to get to a certain point of understanding about it, and I'm getting there. And I think that's really all that matters whenever you're trying to get there, is that you don't need all this mumbo jumbo about names. Names are BS. We don't need names. We know who we're praying to. Just like when I was talking, to my higher power a long time ago. And whenever I stopped saying names in my prayer, things kind of went better for me. So I think that things go better for you whenever your intention is there for that purpose. Jesus comes to Mary left brain. I don't know about that. I don't think that there is a plastic Jesus that's actually alive, Jerry. No, I'm just kidding. No, not really. Because I do believe in that whole plastic Jesus. I do believe in Christ. I think that there was a Christ, somebody who came of the guru style. And I always thought that Jesus was probably a magician, logically. Like I try to think logically about certain things, and that helps me get to a certain frame of mind. So a long time ago, whenever I was testing the theory of Jesus and Christ and all that, I kind of went with the magician, which is exactly what it's saying here. So I was right. I was going on the right lead of that. But I'm sorry to all the folks if I just don't like the name Jesus. To me it means something different. It means a lie. So I apologize. I keep doing that, and I need to keep my mouth shut. Names mean things. I don't know. Masculine and feminine. Adam and Eve become one fresh. Jesus. Jesus. Well, I'm going to stop speaking because I don't want to offend anybody, and I keep doing that, and I just need to keep my mouth shut. This isn't about that. It's about something else. It's all part of my growing, right? Get used to it and start being able to talk about it. The big body, flesh. Every time I just see bling. That's why I keep chuckling through each comment. It's because it's almost like you keep going, Jesus, big body, flesh, funny. I have fun, I'm sorry. It is fun. Your picture is very fun. You're very fun. Are you ready? Thank you, he says. Well, you are. You are. I mean, I can't tell exactly what you're doing because I got the phone. It looks like you're holding the glasses up, but it also looks like every time you're speaking and you're saying something that looks like me. And I like to see the funnier side of things, so I'd rather just see me. Boy, I'm sucking down this coffee. All right, I'll get to it. Ready to read. Ready. Unto the Shishra, after he has been well tested, the mantra which confers power over the sleeping goddess Kundalani, is transmitted, and when he utters it, the goddess awakens and comes to him to be commanded. Then is the need of the guru great, for the awakened goddess can destroy as well as save, according to the mantra is wise or unwisely used. As the outer air vibrates, the gross sounds, the inner vital air, prana vayu, are set in motion and utilized by the use of the sounds of the mantras. The goddess first catches up the subtle occult sound and the end tones of the divine music. She causes it to ascend from her tone in the root support psychic center to one after another of the centers above, until its music fills the lotus of 1,000 petals and is there heard and responded to by the Supreme Guru. There was a video I did, and I didn't want to do it live because I was too embarrassed, because I never sing. It's not my thing. I sound like a dog, you know. And something was telling me to sing, and I didn't feel comfortable with singing, especially on camera. So I hummed. And that was about a time that I was going through like a accelerated thing with coming to my own. And I'm wondering if that's what was going on there. Because maybe this goddess was coming to me and filling my thousands of petals. Thought. The visualization of a deity, as frequently directed in our text, is often but another way of thinking of the essential characteristics of that deity. A like yogic effect comes from visualizing or else audibly pronounce the mantras corresponding to that deity. For by speaking forth as sound the mantras of any deities, the deities is made to appear. Wait a minute. Was my body naturally like calling out? Like it was going through a thing where it was trying to, because right here it's saying, I mean, I would think that it would be the person who is like humming or, and calling upon its deities. That's what it looks like it's saying here. By speaking forth as sound, the mantra of any deity, that deity is made to appear. I wonder if I was calling and didn't even know I was calling. I don't know. Good thoughts, though. Furthermore, the correct punctuation of the mantra of a deity depends upon bodily purity as well as upon knowledge of its proper intonation. Therefore, it is necessary for both the deity first to purify by purificatory mantras, the mouth, the tongue, and the mantra itself, by the process called giving life to or awakening the sleep power of the mantra. The occult ability to employ a mantra properly confers subnormal powers called siddhi, and these can be used according to the character of the adept, either as white magic for good ends or as black magic for evil ends. The right the left-hand paths being the same up to this point of practical application of the fruits obtained through psychic development. One path leads upward to emancipation, the other downward to enslavement. I think I called, and I don't think I knew that I called. Actually, I know I didn't know I called. I mean, it was like a pull to do that humming. I know a lot of things about myself that I already know, but I don't. Like doing that video with the humming, it was very emotional to do too. It was almost like I was connecting with somebody. Like I was connected, not connecting, connected with somebody else. And I had this compulsion to sing, but then it turned into a hum, which that's what, the meditation does. And I wasn't really into meditation. Like I seen people meditate and do the but to know what that is, no, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that that brings you to, and it clears your pineal gland. I knew that at the time that I was clearing my pineal gland, but to call upon somebody with that, like in the beginning of first finding of coming out, I looked at the pineal gland a lot to see how I can clarify that so that I can get back to that euphoric state, because it is very addicting and I really wanted to get there again. So I was trying to find everything I could to try and clear that pineal gland so that I can get there again, because it did feel great to be there in that euphoric state. But to actually know that you're calling upon a deity, I did not know that, but it seems to make sense to me that, because that's kind of what I was feeling, like not really calling upon somebody, but like somebody was there with me, like, I don't know, like another being was there with me, and I wanted to, like I was urged to communicate. At first I thought maybe it was like a frequency of some kind that I was getting and that I should distribute it out to the camera. And I didn't know whether it would be to someone else or to myself. But now I'm finding out it's to myself. So that's pretty cool. So now we're on the Guru of Shishya, or Chela, and initiations. Guru Shishya, or Chela, that's Chela, and initiations. But I'm going to take a break for a moment just so I can get some more coffee and chat a little and let that absorb, because man, that's huge. That is very, very huge. Artificial harmony on guitar rings like a bell, only works on fret 5, 7, 9, 12. Does that make y'all is that the poop one that South Park was talking? I'm just playing, Jerry. Just joking around. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. You can comment on that all you want. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see what you wrote. Nothing. You're ready to move on. Okay. Let me just get a drink of this really quick. Take this gum out too. It's getting, I don't want to start spitting everywhere while I'm trying to read. Coffee's awfully tasty. It gets those taste buds flowing, you know, and you start spitting and drooling. Very frequently, the Bardo Thadal directs the dying or the deceased to concentrate mentally upon or to visualize his tutelary deity or else his spiritual guru, and at other times to recollect the teachings conveyed to him by his human guru, more especially at this time of the mystic initiation. Yogis and tantrists ordinarily comment upon such ritualistic directions by saying that there exist 3 lines of gurus to whom reverence and worship are to be paid. The first and highest is purely superhuman, called the Sanskrit Devayana, meaning heavenly or divine line. The second is the most highly developed human beings possessed of supernormal or siddhic powers, and hence called Siddhahi, Siddhagha. The third is the ordinary religious teachers, and hence called Manavagha, human line. Women as well as men, if qualified, may be gurus. The shishya is, as a rule, put on probation for 1 year before receiving the first initiation. If at the end of that time he proves to be unworthy receptacle for the higher teachings, he is rejected. Otherwise, he is taken in hand by the guru and carefully prepared for looks like psychical development. It's PSYCHICAL, and it's a development. So that's all I need to know, the development. A shishya, when on probation, is merely commanded to perform such exercises as are deemed suitable to his or her particular needs. Then when the probation ends, the shishya is told by the guru the why of the exercises, and the final result which are certain to come from the exercises when successfully carried out. Ordinarily, once the guru is chosen, the shishya has no right to disobey the guru or to take another guru until it is proven that the first guru can guide the shishya no further. If the shishya develops rapidly because of good karma and arrives at a stage of development equal to that of the guru, if unable to guide the shishya further, will probably himself direct the shishya to a more advanced guru. Whoa. Make sure you're not talking here. Okay. For initiation of the shishya, the guru must first prepare himself, usually during the course of the special ritual exercise occupying several days, whereby the guru, by invoking the gift waves of the divine line of gurus, set up direct communication with the spiritual plane on which the divine guru exists. If the human guru be possessed of siddhic powers, this communion is believed to be as real as wireless and telepathic communication between the 2 human beings on the earth plane. The actual initiation which follows consists of giving the shishya the secret mantra, the word of power. whereby at one meant, is brought about between the Shishya as the new member of the secret brotherhood, and the supreme guru who stands to all gurus and shishyas under him as the Divine Father. The vital force or vital airs, pranavayu, serve as a psycho-physical link uniting the human with the divine, and the vital force, having been centered in the seventh psychic center, or thousand-petaled lotus, by exercise of the awakened serpent power, through the center as through a wireless receiving station, are received the spiritual gift waves of this supreme guru. Thus is the divine grace received into the human organism and made to grow, or made to glow, as electricity is made to glow when conducted to the vacuum of an electric bulb. And the true initiation is thereby conferred and the Sishya illuminated. Well, that says a lot. In the occult language of the Indian and Tibetan mysteries, the Supreme Guru sits enthroned in the pericarp of the thousand petals lotus. Thither, by the power of the secret serpent, the power of the serpent power of the awakened goddess Kundalini. I'm gonna take a break. I'm sorry, I gotta break off. That was a lot in that first little bit there in the initiations. I need to absorb that. That was a lot that was said. It kind of distracts me trying to absorb it. So I'm going to take a small little break and finish up that last half of that. And then we'll go into reality as soon as we're done with initiation. I know. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, Jerry, you're right. It is amazing. Jerry says that's amazing. See, I can't even talk. That's how amazing that is. Because, I was wondering what all these powers were, and that kind of explains things to me of why I'm doing these things. Why do I feel this way? Why did I feel that way about Anya? And this kind of explains that in a lot of ways. Things that you knew, but you didn't stop. It's not that I really don't know how to explain it. Like, I knew this stuff. I didn't know the names, but it's like I'm doing this stuff before I even know what it is, and I'm finding out later what it is, but I'm there. And that makes me very happy that I'm there and I'm able to sit upon that throne with all the other gurus and shishas. Because I'm realizing that I'm higher than what I think I am. Because they're saying that I'm of this level right here that we were talking about. And I just thought I was a big newbie, Jerry goes on to say, no flesh enters into the kingdom of heaven, its waters. Well, I hope not. Because you know me about this body, I want out. So I will hold up the book again whenever I'm ready to read. For those, I'm just going to take a freaking break. That was big. That was a lot of information. In your head. Jerry says in your head. Yeah, I wish all this was in my head and I was dreaming it or and sometimes I do, but not really. I've been waiting for this my whole life, and I knew there was something there, but I didn't know I didn't know I was this close to it. I thought I'd be really far away from it, and it's nice to know that I'm closer than what I think I am, and that if I keep doing the right things here, then I can probably climb to that my guru status and go beyond my guru. I don't know who my guru is. Maybe it's the community, since I'm using the community as a resource. The well, Jerry says, the well where God is. No flesh enters the kingdom of heaven, its waters. And I know what he's saying there with the no flesh enters. He's meaning all the stuff that comes with this flesh, the worry, the fear, the terror, which was discussed in the earlier part of the book as you passed over. And then he goes on to say it's in your head, and he's right about that, because all this knowledge is in your head. You already know it. If you studied it in other lives, or if you studied it ever, you tend to form a knowledge, like a DNA knowledge of it. And I think that's what I'm experiencing, is a DNA knowledge of it whenever I don't know what I'm doing, but I do it anyway. You know, like whenever I catch lightning bugs and I don't tear the lights off of them and make jewelry with them. I catch them and I let them go. Whenever I was little, I used to see people doing that, and it horrified me. I'm like, no, let's make up this new game, you know, and I get everybody involved in making up this new game to where we'd play and we'd, you know, name the bugs and let them free afterwards. So see, all those things count in life. Because if you don't do that, you can come back as a ladybug. Not a ladybug, but a lightning bug. Because you tore its little lights off of it. How would you feel? You're ending a life that is a being and that is created for a certain purpose. And you're ending that purpose before it's done. So you're going to have to pay for that sin. Because that is a sin. It is shameful for you to do that. Unless, of course, you want to be on the, you know, negative side, then it's not so bad for you until the end. And then you'll have at it. You'll have yours in the end. I'm just trying to fill the air with talk while I soak this in. And then he continues to say, the well where God is. Yeah, the flow of the flow of knowledge is what he's talking about. We're made of water, from what I've been learning. Like I am, I guess, because I'm a Scorpio. But there's others, you know, who are made of fire, wind, air. There's 5 things. And I'm learning that, and I'll learn that even further and start studying into that on what that means exactly. But to me, it's kind of like the whole astrology thing with water, air, fire, wind. You know, each symbol is made out of a certain, you know, element, and that element has certain deities, and those deities are the ones who you are connected with. If I'm getting that right. I'm trying to pull this together, and that's what it seems like this book is saying to me. But we'll see with the Egyptian Book of the Dead on what it has to say, and it'll probably come further to me on if I'm right on that, if I'm on the right path of what it's trying to say, because they're all pretty much the same, I would think, just a different flow to it, or maybe different words, or what have you. God flooded earth with sea of faces. Really, I didn't know that. I don't really believe in the Bible anymore. I'm really skeptical about it, and I haven't read it in its entirety like Jeff. I mean, I've seen a lot of his videos where he reads the corrected version of the Bible, but it's all in small passages, so I haven't got to that book yet. But I will. We are the waters. Jerry says. But I will get to that. I just wanted to do these older books first. I'm kind that likes to do things in order sometimes, especially whenever it's this. Because even though it's simple and easy, it's difficult to swallow some of this because some of it is so real and it hits you in the right spot and it brings you to a different level and you get dizzy and you get ill. And a lot of people will say, well, that's evil talking, that's evil. And that's you spewing out the evil. You don't like you're being taught. You're in a cult. No, I'm not in a cult. That's the first thing people think whenever they think of something like this because it's so abnormal that it's outside of the realm of religion that they're apt to think that we're devils. And in fact, it's the complete opposite. But see, that's the negative talking. That's the negative vibrations that has been put into the culture about this. And that's why I read these, is to get that culture out of my head. Because this is the right way of living. It doesn't have anything to do with religion or cult or feelings. It's just stated from people who have meditated and come upon this and seen things and used powers to be the correct way. And if anybody thinks that that's a cult, well, that's on them. Bible said, eat your scroll sweet like honey bitter in belly. Boy, you come out with them, Jerry, don't you? You got the Bible. Now you just need the religion. Religion. Re/legion or semicolon legion. Remember. Cool. Hey, second wheel. Hi, I'm Nanya. Welcome to your channel. And I hope you're not the same person who's been watching because I seen the chat go down to 1 for a few minutes. But I'm Nanya, and this is your channel that I created for people of like mind who want to live in the positive, who are trying to find a higher plane of living. I was woke up to this higher plane and realized that there was hardly anything out there on it that was easy to chat on and easy to do. And I was plucked out of a station or a channel. Thank you for stopping me. I've been really well just getting through this darn book, and it just keeps stumping me every step of the way. Every step of the way. And now I'm just taking in what I just read. I had to stop because, my goodness, it's just full of knowledge. And hello, Way, says Jerry. So I've been finding out a few things, and I haven't found much out about the Mandela, but I will, because I'm very curious into that. So I'll be taking time out tonight to look at that along with some things on the computer and to catch up on some comments and just do a bunch of stuff that I've been missing out on. Maybe go in and recheck out that book, the yoga book, because I hope I'm not late on it. I don't think I am, but... But other than that, we're just reading into the addenda of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and we're on the yoga. And we just got done learning about the different gurus and how these powers are come to us and what they actually are and where they're coming from. And why I'm doing certain things without knowing I'm doing them. Like the whole humming video that I did. I learned that, I was doing it because I was compelled to do it. and I don't like singing. I'm awful. And whenever I did that, I was just compelled to do it, but I didn't want to do it live, so I recorded it and then downloaded it. And thank God I did, because usually, if I feel embarrassed about something, I'll decline to post it. But that was in my earlier days, whenever I was all gung-ho, about a week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And so yeah, this told me that I was trying to speak to a guru, is what I was trying to do, which was kind of nice to hear that I'm on the right path without even knowing I'm on the right path, that my DNA knowledge is taking over here and doing everything for me. And it's nice to know that I'm of a higher standard than what I think I am. Because I keep going into this saying I'm a newbie, and I do feel like a newbie because I don't know all these words and I don't know all these phrases and things, what they're called and what I'm doing. I just do them. And it's nice to know that the powers be within me are leading me up to doing this right. It's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. So I'm actually being shown that I'm going about things the right way, which is awesome. Because I am a little bit worried sometimes, because the meditation wasn't going so great there, and I know how important it is to this process, and not to have anything for weeks come in, and you're sitting there for hours on end, like an hour or two, trying to meditate and nothing's happening. It does get very discouraging. So it's good to know that it was like a little hump, and that I'll be there again maybe tonight, and I can take you guys along the ride of meditation with me if you guys wanted. I don't mind doing that again. I got out of it because everything was just haywire in my life, and I didn't know whenever I'd be on, and we all know all things. We just need to be reminded of them. Yes, that way. That is true. But whenever you're coming into it, it's not that you doubt it, or anything, but you just doubt yourself in a way. Like you don't doubt the things that you're doing, but it's not really doubt either. It's more like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it the right way? It's more like a worry. Like, am I doing everything right? Kind of thing. But it seems like I am. Everything seems to be coming together, and that's really nice, I think, to show me that everything's coming together. And I wasn't going to read this addenda, but then it guided me. It told me, no, read it, part of it, kind of thing. And it didn't say that in the beginning about it did a little, but it was kind of like a faint, to where kind of like one of those feelings that, no, I don't really need that. Just get to the nitty gritty first. Because if you're going back, then you can always read that back later. And it's not that, it is important, but it's not as important as getting the gist of things first, kind of feel. But that didn't happen here in the addenda. And the addenda is a part of this that explains a lot to me of what I'm doing. So that's pretty cool to know. Left or right, keep going straight. Yeah, that's what Jeff says. Stay neutral. Stay neutral. Just go in the middle. Stay neutral. Don't pick a side. Just let it go. Let it flow. I get you, Jerry. Thank you. But I have to wear my heart on my sleeve, and kind of let you know that yes, I have my doubts. Or not doubts, but worries. Which it is kind of doubts. Worries are doubts. And I do have to say that. Worries are doubts. But it's not really you're doubting the faith of it. You're just doubting yourself and where you're at. Because we do know, like that way says, we do know, we're already told from our different lives on what we learned and the knowledge that is in our DNA already, and the knowledge of the DNA that we learned along the way of this to get out of this trap, the knowledge that was set there for us, and that's harder to obtain than the knowledge of the DNA knowledge. I do have to say, but this is kind of like that. What they're saying in this is kind of like, uh, can I put that? It is kind of like that guru DNA, I guess you could say. The higher power of DNA coming at you, saying, hey, this is all you've been through. This is what it is. Believe it or not. And that's it. Just believe it or not. It's cool though. Oh man, it's a lot. All right, let's get to reading. I'm ready to read. In the occult language of the Indian and Tibetan mysteries, the Supreme Guru sits, and Jerry just, I'll read that real quick. You have to put your hands forth and eat hate, breadcrumbs dough. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true. In the, it's got to be funny, don't you? In the occult language of the, let me get closer. Sorry. Hello, Third Wheel. Welcome. I'm Nunya. Welcome to your station. If you're not new, please stop me before I go into my spiel. This channel was created for you. If you're of the higher self of empowerment, of positivity, lots of stations and within this channel, your channel that I created for you guys who are wanting that. It's very easy to find these people who are able to help in the process of this. Bruce, okay. Hi, everybody. With love to family. YouTube search Bulletproof Spoken. It will be first one give it a less. Wait a minute. That way says YouTube search Bulletproof Spoken. It will be the first one. Give it a listen. YouTube search Bulletproof Spoken. It will be the first one given it listen. Not sure I understand that way. I'm sorry. I am going. That's the thing I'm going to be looking up is the Hangouts, so that I can understand you guys easier, and then you guys can just talk instead of typing, because I know how frustrating that is. I was just there today at Green Thumb with that frustration, but it wasn't really frustration. I laughed through it, kind of thing. But it was frustrating because they did have a good show with lots of good people like Lunatic Dad on there. That I like Lunatic Dad. I think he's pretty funny and cool. But yeah, I missed out because of a chat that where because of my little like you said that way, that icon for the channel, what do you call that, the little emblem icon, I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, the little icon that says who I am. Give it a listen. Oh, is that like a music thing that way? The Bulletproof? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with songs and everything. Oh, Hangout, Bruce, is an app of Google's. Like if you have a Gmail account, you can download an app called Hangouts, and it helps the YouTubers communicate on a level of phone instead of talking on chat here. It's easier. So I'm going to be, I don't know if you can do it on a phone because I can't even get out of my screen here without ending the live. Like anytime, like I'll look here and it says, the only thing it says is share, enable flash, and mute microphone. And then it has an X up at the top here. And then a chat, like like there's a camera here. There's a chat thing here. And there's like a little thing that changes the way it looks. The button I like to play with a lot with the camera. There's that there. But I don't see a way of pulling out of my screen, and I don't have half a screen, you know, where it minimizes down. But then I think the T-Mobile added that, so I need to look at that because I've done that before, shrink it down to a half a screen and brought up another application at the same time, but the other screen went out. So I'm not sure if I can play the other screen and do the other screen. I have to check all this stuff out, and I have no idea how to check this stuff out. I just gotta look at it and hope for the best that I find out and figure it out. And you can get Hangouts through the Play Store or through your Gmail. I think that there's a link through Gmail for it, but I'm not sure. But it is synced up with your Gmail account, and your Gmail account is synced up with the YouTube account. And I know that you can use a computer throughout the sync of the calls, but I don't know if you can do that whenever the screen is shrunk. I heard you could. Have to do Zoom. Oh, Jerry says, awesome Alice in Chains down in the hole. Who is Alice? Why she in chains? He. And he continues to say, have to do Zoom. That way, it's a writing by Kate of Gaia. I hope you can give it a listen. Certainly. I'll write it down. I have my paper here. Let me just grab a pencil. And for those who are interested, Being CC, who really is live, Mandelf Frequency V3.2, Art and Discovery, Inscopy Biopsy is live right now. Night Shame is live. He's a gamer. October Horror Gaming Month. Resident Evil 5, Fun Times. He likes to chat with his people. And Two Chiz Crew, National Apple Month, just posted a video. Chaos Hybrid Gaming, Phoenix Gaming. He was up live earlier with New Survival, Pirates of the Caribbean mashup, and that's been posted. And my battery is full. Charger can now be removed. Just wanted to give those shout outs really quick. Bulletproof. Let me start up a new paper for today. Have suggestions. $10, $11, $18. Bulletproof. And it is written writing by Kate Gaia. Gaia? Gaia. Gaia. Yeah, definitely. I'll look at that tonight along my route. Now that I have that computer, I can fast forward things and get done with things a little bit quicker. Oh, it's a coffee pot. I'm like, what is that? Watch official video of song when curtain falls. All right. Why is there something spooky in there, Jerry? Is it spooky? Just YouTube search Bulletproof Spoken. Spoken, okay. Oops, sorry. Spoken. There we go. Got it. Done did. And I'll do that. Is YouTube allowed to keep our videos? I have no clue. I think they are. I heard from other YouTubers, like whenever High Impact got hit, and I think Markiplier got hit once, and all his stuff was gone, and he had to fight with YouTube in order to get his videos back, and he got some of them back, a lot of them back, probably about 100 to 200 that he had done. There's a few that were gone, though, that he couldn't get back, and he was very sad by it because he worked hard on his channel, you know, and his channel got taken down, and he had to fight in order to get it back. But yeah, I think they can. That's why I think Global Witness is saying to download everything that you have on a PDF, a little memory card, so that you have control over your downloads. Because if YouTube goes down, like we think they're going to do, and take all our videos, then what are the future generations going to be watching? Crap. So yeah, I think they can. If you don't have them saved. And you just have them saved in YouTube. And Bruce says, he continues to say, after the YouTube allowed to keep your videos, he says, yes, I wrote Bulletproof. You wrote it? Cool. Maybe you can write my Buddhahood song. No, I'll write that. I'm good at writing songs. I'm just not good at singing them. Good food, says Jerry. Yeah, it is good food for thought. Somebody's listening. Like when other people listen, I can hear them standing. Okay, they're walking away. They hear me in here and they stop for a second whenever they go to take out their trash. And this is my mom's house, so I'm respectful and I don't like. So I had to kind of wait for people to walk away whenever I'm talking about this stuff. Otherwise, they know what I'm up to, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, you know? Sounds like coffee is done. Wow, that took that long, huh? That was like a full minute of a lag there. Yeah, I think it is done. I don't know what that sound was, though. That was weird. And Bruce says, no, wrote to watch. No, wrote to watch. Oh, okay. I'm going to take another small little break, and then we'll get back to it. Let you guys say what you got to say and do what I got to do type thing. Love all. Love all of you. Have to roll. Oh, hope to see you again, Jerry. See you later, alligator. Have fun, be safe in everything that you do. And that's what I think of that. I hope you think the same and you stay cool within yourself, Jerry. Love ya and have a safe night. Made me laugh. Thank you. You're welcome. You have a safe night now. Alrighty. There's my glove coming through right here. So whenever you leave, you'll feel it. Right whenever you press that little button that says bye and it clicks out, you're going to feel it. You feel it? Bye. Here's my love. Coming at you. All that love. There you guys go. I did it for all you guys. Jerry, Bruce, that way. You all got it. I set it out there for all you guys. All right, just down to us now. Sure, I said the bye to the right person. Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, guys. I'm just going to finish my little break here. Hope you guys don't mind. But that was pretty heavy stuff what I just got done reading, and I'm almost ready to go back in it. I just need to take a little stop here. I keep forgetting to roll my shoulders back whenever I'm sitting for good posture. And then my back starts to ache, and sometimes I just have to stretch it out. Excuse-moi. Bruce says, sorry to me, to got to go. Something big is happening on way. Got to be ready. All right, Bruce. Well, you too have a safe night. And glad you stopped by to listen to some of my antics here in this Buddha hood. And I will see you later, and have fun, be safe, and everything that you do. Ooh, I just spit on my book. Oh, but I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate all the comments that you've been giving, Bruce. They're lovely comments, and I do appreciate them. Thank you. And we'll see you later next stream, or the stream after, or the stream after that, or the stream after that, or the stream after that. You can leave anytime. Here's my love. Sorry, gotta be funny about it. It's a fun life. Enjoy it where I can, while I can, right? If I can talk. Okay, so Bruce has left and somebody else has stepped in for Bruce there. Same be with love and heart. Yeah, because there's 3 in chat, or there's 3 watching. So there's a third wheel here. Bruce has not left yet. The third wheel came and left real quick. And welcome to your channel, Third Wheel. My name is Nunya. And I'm just reading these comments really quick and I'll get right to you. Uh, Same be with love and heart, says Bruce, not money. Yes, sir. And I love you for that. Mwah. We'll see you next time, okay? And I hope that something big that's happening is very good. Feels like it's good, whatever you're talking. Okay. Did Bruce leave? Just making sure that the second person that's in here is someone else besides Bruce. Okay, so we got that way and the second wheel. And second wheel has not commented yet, so I'm going to welcome the second wheel here. And my name is Nanya, and I started this channel about 4 weeks ago because I've had a spiritual awakening that is beyond anything I ever experienced. It was very magical, and I'm talking poof magic, bunny magic. And I wanted to create myself to be a more positive person whenever this happened, and to try and find that outside of this community here on YouTube and on an outside community level, like the Outer Light or Richie from Boston or Lisa Haven or Leak Project. There's lots of people in there with lots of bad things to say. Not really so much on Leak Project, but on those other stations there are. And I would go out and try to correct people in their negativeness and got slammed. And whenever that happened, I still kept at it, but it was pretty hard out there and pretty rough on the outside world of this community. And I got plucked by Mother Nature. She's a tarot card reader. She brought me into this community and introduced me to a lot of people within her channel and other channels that came after that I realized that was here in this community. And so I started probably this channel probably about 2 or 3 days after my awakening, and it's been recorded ever since. It shows my journey along it, and it could help people through this journey of things that I talk about, like what I'm going through and how it feels and what it's like, what to do, and so that would help in a sense of guidance a little, because there is no other channel that shows that side of things. I mean, Jeff Doherty talks about it, Global Witness talks about it, everybody talks about it, but to find it is very difficult. So I did these raws because I was told to do. I started this channel because I was told to do that, not by a voice, just by a knowledge that I have. And it's of a higher power knowledge, and we were just reading about that higher power knowledge in the Tibetan Book of the Dead here. And we're on the last part of that right now. It's talking about yoga and what yoga is and where it originated from and some details within the powers that you may have. With those powers you may have, there's channels up above, or if you're on a journey of finding those powers, there's channels up above that can help people like Mother Nature who helped me of exploring those powers. But I realized during my way here that I'm too to hold on to those powers right now, so I shouldn't be using them until I close that door, uh, ground myself, I guess you can say, because whenever I did this, my soul kind of jumped out of me, and I've been trailing it ever since, so I'm not quite grounded. One place that really helps with that is Anja Tex. It's ANJATEICH. And she's the featured channels, and she can help you get grounded so that you can actually utilize these powers that you have. And I believe that everyone has them, and each person, each being has their own powers that they're more skilled at. Like mine is the hand healing, using my hands to heal. voice to heal. I have a very soothing voice, I'm told. So I think that that's part of that healing that I have. Uh, so I'm studying that, and along the way of studying all this stuff like this here and connecting myself with that higher power and closing that gap so that I can use my powers of healing and explore other powers like, tarot cards and mediums and all those things, remote viewing with Max Vision. Analytical Mystic does tarot cards. They're all up in the channel just for you to go and talk to these people because they do chat with you at the end. Mother May I, if you hashtag Mother May I at Mother Nature's channel, she'll give you a free reading. That's always awesome to have, to know if like what you're wanting to know about yourself or a situation. That's always helpful to get verification on that. So explore, have fun, and I hope you enjoy your channel. That's my creation to this community, and so is this, my rawness to this experience. This is going to go to future generations so that they know about this, because it's very important that everyone knows about this. This should be actually in schools to teach this, because it does bring you to a center of yourself. But unfortunately, it's not, so I'm reading it. So here we go, and I do these live. I don't know pronunciations very well, so bear with me. I do the best I can, and it's all live. I've never read this book, so, and I'm only completed eighth grade, and I went on to the ninth grade and dropped out and got my GED. So these words are, some of them, are foreign yet, because everything just looks foreign to me. So whenever I'm looking at it foreign and I have a lack of education, it kind of bears into play with my bad pronunciation of these words. So if you can bear with that and just go along, and as we read the sentence on through, it'll make sense, because, sentences have a tendency to speak for themselves. And here we go. We're towards the end paragraph. We're almost done with the initiations. And then we're going to go into Reality of Yoga, the Tibetan book of the Addenda, and that talks about yoga. In the occult language of the Indian and Tibetan mysteries, the Supreme Guru sits enthroned in the pericarp of the thousand-petaled lotus. Thither, by the power of the serpent power of the awakened goddess, Kundalini, the Shishya, guided by the human guru, is led and bows down at the feet of the Divine Father and receives the blessings and the benediction. The veil of the Maya has been lifted, and the clear light shines into the heart of the Shishya unobstructedly. As one lamp is lit by the flame of the other lamp, so the divine power is communicated from the Divine Father, the Supreme Guru, to the newly born one, the human Shishya. The secret mantra confers at the initiation, like the Egyptian word of power. Is the password necessary for the conscious passing of the embodied state into the disembodied state? It wasn't a question, but I'm questioning that because I don't understand that. So I'm going to reread it. The secret mantra conferred at the initiation, like the Egyptian word of power, is the password necessary for the conscious passing from the embodied state into the disembodied state. Okay, got it. If the initiate is sufficiently developed supernaturally, if the initiate is sufficiently developed spiritually before the time comes for the giving up of the gross physical body of death, and can at that moment of the quitting of the earth plane remember the mystic mantra or the word of power. The changes will place without loss of consciousness, nor will will the shishya of the full development suffer any break in the continuity of consciousness from the incarnation to incarnation. Reality. In denying the soul hypothesis, Buddhism of all the schools maintain that personality or personal, let me reread. In denying the soul hypothesis, Buddhism of all schools maintains that personal immortality is impossible, because all personal existence is but a mere flux of instability and continual change, karmically, dependent upon the false concept that phenomena and phenomenal appearances for phenomenal states and beings are real. In other words, Buddhism holds that individualized mind or consciousness cannot realize reality. The essence of the Bardo Thadal teachings is likewise that so long as the mind is human, so long as it is individualized, so long as it regards itself as separation or as separate and apart from all minds, other minds, it is but the playing of Mara, of ignorance, which causes it to look upon the hallucinatory panorama of the existence within the samsara as real. Thence leads it to lose itself in the quagmire, giggity go, of phenomena. Followers of the Semitic faiths are hereditarily so completely dominant by the theory of soul, of personal immortality after death, in a phenomenal paradise or hell, that in their view there can be no alternative. And to them, the Buddhist denial of the theory erroneously appears to imply a doctrine of the absolute negation of being. Wow. The realization of reality, according to the Bardo Thadal, is wholly dependent upon expurgating from the mind all error, all false belief, and arriving at a state in which Mara no longer controls. Once the mind becomes freed from all karmic obscurations, the supreme heresy, that phenomenal appearance in heavens, hells, or worlds are real. Then there dawns right knowledge. All forms merge into that which is non-form. All phenomena into that which is beyond phenomena. Whew, whew, whew. I think I'm going to have to reread all this. All ignorance is dissipated by the light of truth. Personality ceases, individualized being and sorrow are at an end. Mind and matter are known to be identical. The mundane consciousness becomes a supramundane, and one with the Dharma Kaya. The pilgrim reaches the goal. Buddhahood! Had to do that. Had to do it. The great patriarch Ashvaghosha, who set down in writing during the 1st century AD the essential teachings of Mahayana Buddhism, at first handed down orally by initiates direct from the time of the Buddha, has otherwise stated the doctrine's teaching reality as follows. In his remarkable treatise called The Awakening of Faith, of Ignorance, the true reality is originally only one, but the degrees of ignorance are infinite. Therefore, the nature of men differ in character accordingly. There are unruly thoughts, more numerous than sands of the Ganges, some arising from ignorant conceptions and other arising from ignorance of senses and desires. Thus, all kinds of wild thoughts arise from ignorance, and have first and last infinite differences, which Jula, i.e. the Tathagata, alone knows. As from the true reality, man knows that there are no objective world. There is no objective world. Then the various means of the following and obeying this true reality arise spontaneously, i.e. without thought and without action. And when influence is by this power for a long time, ignorance disappears. As ignorance disappears, the false ideas cease to arise. As these false ideas do not arise, the former objective world also ends. As the forces cease to exist, then the false powers of the finite mind cease to exist. And this is called nirvana, when the natural forces of the true reality alone work. A phenomena, semicolon. All phenomena are originally in the mind and have really no outward form. Therefore, as there is no form, it is an error to think that anything is there. All phenomena merely arise from false notions in the mind. If the mind is independent of the false ideas, then all phenomena disappear. Therefore, the phenomena of the three worlds, of desire, of form, of non-form, are mind-made. Without mind, then there are practically no objective existence. Thus, all existence arises from the imperfect notion in our mind. All differences are differences of the mind, but the mind cannot see itself, for it has no form. We should know that all phenomena are created by the imperfect notion in the finite mind. Therefore, all existence is like a reflection in a mirror, without substance, only a phantom of the mind. When the finite mind acts, then all kinds of things arise. When the finite mind ceases to act, then all kinds of things cease. Let me make sure you're not saying anything. Of space, semicolon. Men are to understand that space is nothing. It has no existence, it has no reality. It is a term in opposite of reality, in opposition to reality. It is a term in opposition to reality. We only say this, and that is visible, in order that we might have distinguished between things. Of the mind and matter, semicolon. Mind and matter are eternally the same. As the essence of matter is wisdom, the essence of matter is without form, and is called the embodiment of wisdom. As the manifested essence of wisdom is matter, it is called the all-pervading embodied of wisdom. The unmanifested matter is without magnitude. According to the will, it can show itself throughout all the universe as the immeasurable pusis, pusis, pusaz, pizzazz, pizzazz, possess, i.e., intelligent, devout man, or Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas. Immeasurable inspired spirits, immeasurable glories, all different, without magnitude and without interference with one another. This is what ordinary senses cannot comprehend, and is the work of the absolute reality. According to the absolute reality, there is no distinction between mind and matter. It is on account of the defilement of the finite in the round of life and death that these distinctions appear. As the defilements of the world, they are all false. They have no reality behind them. Finally, they leave false concepts. One should know that the purity and defilement of both relative terms and have no independent existence. Although all things for eternal are neither mind nor matter, neither infinite wisdom nor finite knowledge, neither existing nor not existing, but are after all inexpressible. We nevertheless use words, yet should know that the Buddha's skillful use of words to lead men aright lay in this: to get man to cease conjecturing and to return to the absolute reality, for the best human thought of all things is only temporary and is not the truth absolute. Of the nature of the primordial mind. The mind from the beginning is of a pure nature, but since there is the finite aspect of it, which is sullied by the finite views, there is the sullied aspect of it. Although there is the defilement, yet the original pure nature of external unchanged. This mystery of enlightened one alone understands. Still in reality. Just a little joke. If there were no true real nature of the mind, then all existence would not exist. There would be nothing to show it. If the true real nature of the mind remains, then the finite mind continues. Only when the madness of the finite mind ceases will the finite mind cease. It is not the wisdom of the true reality that ceases. Just as man having lost his way calls the east west, although the east and the west have not really changed, so is mankind lost in ignorance, calling the mind of the universe his thoughts. But the mind is what it ever was, all unchanged by men's thoughts. When men consider and realize that the absolute mind has no need of thoughts like men's, they will be following the right way to reach the bondness of the nature of the absolute, It is neither that which had an origin some time, nor that which will end at some time. It is really eternal. In its nature, it is always full of possibilities, and is described as the great light and wisdom, giving light to all things, real and knowing. It is true nature. It is that of a pure mind, eternally joyful, the true being of things, pure, quiet, unchanged. Therefore, free, with fullness of virtue, and Buddhic attributes more numerous than the sands of the Ganges, divine, unending, unchanged, and unspeakable. As the nature behind all experience has no beginning, so it has no end. This is true nirvana. Behind all existence there is naturally the supreme nirvana, or supreme rest. Whew. We're on to the northern and southern Buddhism and Christianity coming up. I'm going to take a small little break. That was a lot. Again, just going to get rewarm. I'll be right back. All righty. There we go. Sorry. At first I was leaning back, and it's kind of hard to know where you're going to be at through this, and I want to be as close as I can to the speaker so that it resonates and you'll be able to hear me over dishes and water and all that. Oh. And it says on the next page here, Buddhism and Christianity. So they're going to talk about that, it looks like, on the following page. We're at 232. We're going into 233, where Buddhism and Christianity come into play. I'm sorry, I got a little hangnail on my finger here. Kind of gross to do on camera, but you gotta fix it. Otherwise, I'll snag my pants. Hope you guys don't mind a little break. We've got just a few more pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, less than 10, which is great. I'm barreling through. And I'll go get that yoga book, that way you can see that. Oh good, I got until the 24th to renew it. But it's a yoga book. So it probably says something similar to this book, so I can skim right through it probably and read it faster without any hiccups besides the pronunciations. And then I have and I thought about reading this one. I don't know if I should do it live. But Know Thy Enemy, The Art of War. I thought this was a really good one. I heard about this one just like I did the Tao, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to read. Because I don't think I've seen anybody read this on YouTube yet. I mean, there probably are people out there, but I just wondering of what year this is. That way I can read it. Because I hate to read something, but I'll work it out some way. I'll work it out. If I can't, there's like I did the Tao. You know, I just took the part of the Tao and I just read the Tao instead of the introduction, which was the introduction was copyrighted in I think 1986, and they said 20 years and 70 plus died. You know, like they have to be dead 70 years after they came out with the creation. So I was able to do that one. So let me look at this and see if I can even read it. I mean, it seems like an old book, like an old theory of a book or a book or something. Oh, let's see. I see something that says Steve Kaufman in 1939, The Art of War, the definite interpretation of Sun Tzu classic book of strategy. So maybe I can, if I can take his words. And that's in the Library of Congress catalog. Publication data, it says. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look this up to see if I can read it. Look. Let me make sure you're not chatting up here at me. Steve Kaufman. Let me see if there's an Art of War section or something. No. It'd be great if I can. I mean, I don't see why I can't. The library offers these books out, you know. You can rent them at the library. I don't, you know, and they're free. So I don't see why I can't read books on online, but I'm just scared because I don't want any ads on my channel, on my shows, I mean. I hate ads. I don't want to be brainwashed by ads. And I don't expect you guys to be brainwashed by ads just for listening to somebody talk. That's silly. That's like expecting, you know, subs and thumbs ups. You know, that's why I don't shout out for thumbs up. I just try to use it as a communication tool for people who are observing. If they, like if I have a question about which way they want me to do something, I'll say, well, you know, if you wanted to, if you don't want to show your face, you know, show your icon, you can always just hit the thumbs up and that will tell me, you know, I don't ever ask for any thumbs up, you know, because I don't think that way. I think that things should be free. Darn it. Especially words. But I'll figure it out, and if I'm able to, then I will. I'll just look on YouTube and see if anybody else is reading it. That's what I do. Forget about the reading. Who wants to read about instructions? Because I have such a hard time with that copyright with trying to figure that stuff out. That's why I opt out and I don't have any music in the background. And just like, well, forget it, you know? It's so confusing to me. Like, it's not explained well in YouTube. You know, like in the help section, it's not explained well at all. And even to have a list, you know, like the list of people, there's some people in there that you can't even, you know, like you're pushing on it and you're realizing, hey, this is new. And then you look underneath it and, you know, so you can't even just play the list. You got to keep going into the list to play certain things out of the list. So, and you're not even sure if you're thinking right about the copyright. So, so it leads up to a big mess, this copyright issues. It's just a big freaking mess. So that's why I don't do any music or anything in the background. I do turn on TV sometimes, and just to get like the frequency of the TV, that brainwashing factor frequency that's put in there that I hear. I'm hoping that other people can hear it whenever I do my brainwash videos, and I haven't done one in a while. I have to do one again. I might do that one tomorrow. Whenever I start to read that yoga book, like have it in the background. So I do like having things in the background. Hello, third wheel. Hi. If you don't feel comfortable with saying anything, you don't have to. There's two more of you, like you, if that's the way you prefer it, up above, watching right now. My name is Nunya, and I created this channel for people of a higher power of things, like not a higher power of things, but of a higher plane of things. I created it because I had a jump in my spirit, kind of jumped out, and I had like an uprising in spirituality and seeing things for what they are, and it was a weird process, very hard to deal with alone. I knew what was happening almost immediately and just went with it, just kind of gave myself to it. And ever since, I've been going on a journey, reading books like this and the Tao, and analyzing myself through these videos, and other people analyze me too. Got some supporters, some followers that kind of come and comment and question things, and kind of just bring stuff up that they really hit, and that helps out a lot. Whenever we do a powwow, I call it like a powwow, and I used to do it a lot after meditation. Hey, that way, you're back again. Thank you for speaking. So I didn't have to go through all that again. I appreciate it. You can just go on Kate's writings on my channel. Will do. Will do. I'll write that down. Kate's channel. And that's on the bulletproof, right? Oh. Channel. Thank you, that way. I appreciate the info and the lead. I always like leads because sometimes they work out, Sometimes they lead exactly to where I'm supposed to go. If the person is affluent in the knowledge of what they have, they tend to know exactly what I need before I even know what I needed. And I got a fourth wheel. Hello, I'm Nunya. Nunya Business. I'm here on YouTube, welcoming those of and if I do know you, please speak up. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through my spiel of welcoming. But my name is Nunya, and you don't have to speak if you don't want to. Got lots of observers today. But I had an experience of an awakening along with many others, and that brought me to realize that things were differently than what I was seeing them. And whenever that happened, Jeff was hollering, create, Jeff Doherty from, he's the Christian Whistleblower on YouTube channel. And he is now the New Cosmic Knowledge. But he was hollering that we should be creating, so I did try to create, and I was trying to create myself into being more of a positive person, because it took me dying, not physically, but emotionally, as far as I've lived a positive way all my life. And about 4 years ago, I seen Jeff, and he opened up my eyes, and I took a look outside into reality, and seeing all the horrors of Hollywood come into play, and how that that investigation of mine led me to a lot of corruption in the government and a lot of corruption in Hollywood and a lot of sex trafficking in children and just all kinds of horrifying things, including, the of Catholic faith and things I found there. And it kind of woke me up to the horribleness of my reality. I don't know if it's your reality because it seems the Mandela has taken place, the Mandela effect has taken place and made reality different for people. So I'm not sure of what reality any of you are seeing, but I am seeing a horrific reality of sex trafficking with pedo, pedophilia. All right, that person has left, so I'm going to continue on to this reading and get done. I only have like 10 pages left, so I'm just going to keep rolling until somebody comes back into the chat, and then I have to stop and welcome because that's my job. This is my full-time job, it seems, nowadays. I mean, 8 or 9 hours of sitting here online, I think that's the job. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, we're in the addenda, and we got a fourth wheel now again, so I'm going to stop and welcome the fourth wheel. My name is Nunya, and I am the welcoming committee to a community of higher plane of living, of positivity. I created this channel for that community to make it easier to find information about what it is that we're all experiencing, the people who have woken up out of Jeff Daugherty's show and other places. And apparently this has been going on for decades. But it seems like this year, they're in particular, because of technology and the information at hand, it has become a phenomena. Okay, that person left. Here we go again. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, Addenda, Northern and Southern Buddhism and Christianity. It starts out, thus does Ashvaghasa bear witness to the sounds of the supreme philosophy of the Mahayana school underlining the Bardo Thadal. And the independent commenter confirms our own interpretation. Let me look back on this and make sure that I can read that. Should be able to. Doesn't say anything about it, so I'm gone. Northern and Southern Buddhism and Christianity. Very much matter might also be incorporated herein to show the differences which exist between the two great schools of Buddhism. The Northern and Southern school, sometimes known, and I forgot to hold up my book so that people know where I'm at. Let me reread that, just in case. Northern and Southern Buddhism and Christianity. Very much matter might also be incorporated herein to show the differences which exist between two great schools of Buddhism. The Northern and the Southern school, sometimes known as the Mahayana, meaning the greater path, and the Hinayana, meaning the lesser path, a rather belittling name never used by Southern Buddhism of themselves. Northern Buddhism is chiefly distinguished by its hierarchical hierarchical Northern Buddhism is chiefly distinguished by hierarchical and more highly organized priestess. It emphasizes upon rituals. It elaborates doctrine of divine emanations. It's Christian-like worship and masses. It's tantricism. I hope I'm not chopping that word up too bad. It's Dhyana Buddhism, Bodhisattvas, an extensive pantheon. Its belief in primordial Buddha, its greater existence on yoga, its subtle philosophy, and its transcend, transcendental teachings concerning the Trikaya. In Southern Buddhism, on the contrary, there is a very loosely organized priesthood with no recognized head like of Dalai Lama, who is the good king, and the Tashi Lama, who is the higher spiritual head of Lamism. There are no recognized rituals comparable to the ritual of the Northern School, little or nothing clearly tantric, and no worship of Dhyana Buddhas or the primordial Buddha, but a limited belief in the devas and demons. The only Bodhisattva appealed to and imaged in temples is the coming Buddha, Maitreya. Although theoretically, yoga is insisted upon, it appears to have been but little practiced among the Southern Buddhists since the times of Buddhaghosa, 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 Buddhaghosa. Although theoretically yoga is insisted upon, it appears to have been a little practiced among Southern Buddhists since the times of Buddhaghosa and his intermediate successors, when Buddhist Ceylon is said to have been famous at Buddhist Tibet is now for its great saints or yogis. That there exists a transcendental Buddhism based chiefly upon tantric teachings and applied yoga, such as the Lamas claim to possess through oral transmission direct from the time of Buddha. Southern Buddhism denies, for it holds the Buddha thought no higher or other doctrine than those recorded in the Tripitaka or Pali Canon. Similarly, the doctrine of the esoteric Trinity or Trikaya, Southern Buddhism does not propound, although there is a clear reference to the Dharmakaya in the Agana Sutanta of the Digha Makya, wherein the Buddha speaks of the Dharmakaya to the Brahmin priest named Vasishta, and the Simhalis work known as the Dharma Pradipika contains elaborate exposition of Rupakaya and Dharmakaya. The hypothesis of Christian apologists that Northern Buddhism is in differentiation from Southern Buddhism, was primarily affected by the early Christian missionaries seem to be disproved insofar as really fundamental doctrines are concerned by the far-reaching fact, but recently made known to Western scholars through the recovery of some of the writings of the greatest of the father of the Northern Buddhist Church, namely the Patrick Ashvaghosha. The Northern Buddhism was fundamentally the same in the 1st century AD as it is now and was prior to the Christian era. If there were Christian influences as claimed, brought in by the Nestorians or St. Thomas or later missionaries, it appears that they could have only have had it appears that they could only have a superficial at most. In our own view, which is, of course, merely hypothetical, seeing how little it is at present known to the interdependent influences of Hinduism, Buddhism, and other Oriental religions of Christianity. It is Christianity which probably has been shaped, not only in its pre-Christian symbology and in its rituals, but in its belief by the faiths preceding it, and out of which it evolved. For example, Christian monasticism, as best studied in the 1st centuries of the Christian era in Egypt, with its yoga-like practices, has had apparently direct relationship with the more ancient monastic systems, such as those of Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Taoism. The two great doctrines of Christianity, namely those of the Trinity and of the Incarnation, are not, as formerly believed, unique. Not only did both develop the pre-Christian times in India, but were principal doctrines in the Osirian faith of Egypt, at least 6,000 years ago. The primitive Christian Gnostic Church, as the exponent of an historic Christianity, was also a general accord with the old Oriental teachings touching rebirth and karma, which the later of the historic Christian Church eventually repudiated. The Second Council of Constantinople in AD 553, decreeing that whosoever shall support the mystic doctrine of the pre-existence of the soul and the consequent wonderful opinion of its return, let him be anathema, anathema, anathema. The Sermon of the Mount itself, as a study of the pre-Christian Pali Canon indicates, might very well be regarded, as many Buddhist scholars do regard it, as a Christian restating of doctrines which the Buddha too formulated as an inheritance from the prehistoric Buddhas. It is chiefly the doctrines of the modern Christian churches that provide themselves in having no esoteric teachings, and not those of primitive or Gnostic Christianity that did propound an elaborate esotericism, which differ widely from the doctrines of Buddhism and other original religions. And among these doctrines, the more outstanding are the doctrines of one's life on earth to be followed by never-ending paradise, or else the eternal hell. Of the unforgiveness of sins through the blood sacrifice of a Savior, and the uniqueness of the divine incarnation of exemplified in the founder of Christianity. For the student of the West, whose outlook has been more or less affected by the theology of church council Christianity rather than by a primitive or Gnostic Christianity, there is need to realize exactly how Buddhism offers the fundamentals of the modern Christianity. Thus, unlike modern or church council Christianity, which teaches dependence upon the outside power or savior, Buddhism teaches dependence on self-exertion alone if one is to gain salvation, which it should be. In practice, and to a limited degree, in theory, this fundamental doctrine of self-dependence is modified to Lamism, as illustrated in the Bardo Thadal, and directed appeal is made by the devotee to the Dhyana Buddhas and tutelary deities, very much as to Jesus and the saints and angels by Christians. Similar Northern Buddhism and Church Council Christianity, unlike Southern Buddhism, has their masses and their Eucharistical ceremonies. Secondly, as pointed out above, Church Council Christianity condemns the doctrine of rebirth and karma, which primitive or Gnostic Christianity upheld. The Buddhism champions them. Thirdly, the two faiths hold divergent views concerning the existence or non-existence of a supreme deity. Excuse me. Hello, Third Wheel. I'm Nunya. Welcome to your channel. I created this channel for people of like minds, like we're talking here with yoga. And what the belief in yoga is exactly what I believe is happening to a lot of people at the moment. And so I created this channel to help out with this process of trying to find yourself through all this uplifting, where your soul kind of jumps out and you're kind of stuck here on the earth and your soul is up here and you're trying to bring yourself together because everything is going like this and you can't eat, you can't sleep, you're going through a purge thing. I started this because of that, but if you're not of that, welcome anyway. You might be curious about it. Please feel free to check out the other videos that I made, and it explains everything. I started it this channel probably about 4 weeks ago, and I uplifted, and 2 days later I was called to do this channel. So I'm here welcoming to the community. And they left. And I forgot where I was at, but that's okay. Go back. Okay. Thirdly, the two faiths hold divergent views concerning The existence or not existence of a supreme deity. Where am I at? Yeah, okay. The fatherhood of God as a personal and anthropomorphic deity is the cornerstone of Christian theology. But in Buddhism, although the Buddha neither denied nor affirmed the existence of a supreme deity, it has no place, because as the Buddha maintained, never believing nor not believing in a supreme God, but self-exertion in right doing is essential to comprehending the true nature of life. The Buddha argued not that Ishvara, the Buddha argued not that Ishvara was cause, nor did he advocate some cause heretical, heretical, nor yet again did he affirm there is no cause for the beginning of the world. He argued if the world was made by Ishvara Deva, there should be no such thing as sorrow or calamity, nor doing wrong or nor doing right. For all, both pure and impure deeds, there must come from it. These must come from Ishvara Deva. Again, if Ishvara be the maker, all living things should silently submit, patient beneath the maker's power. And then what use to and then what use to practice virtue? There or twere equal than the doing right or wrong. Thus, you see, the thought of Ishvara is overthrown in its decision, Shastra. Although the great teacher has set aside as being non essential to mankind's spiritual enlightenment, the belief and non belief in in a supreme deity. More especially, let me reread that. Although the great teacher has set aside as being non essential to mankind's spiritual enlightenment, the belief and the non belief in a supreme deity, more especially in an anthropomorphic supreme deity. He is, however, made the cornerstone of Buddhism, as it is of Hinduism. The belief in a supreme power or law or universal law, called the law of cause and effect, by the science of the West and by the science of the East, karma. What ye sow, that shall you reap. What ye sow, thou shall you reap. Saith the Buddha, even as St. Paul wrote long afterward, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Again and elsewhere stated, Buddhism denies that there can be a permanent, unchanging, personal reality such as Christian theology calls soul. It also denies the possibility of teaching the state of eternal felicity within the samsara, i.e., the universe of phenomena, or reality or nirvana, is for all school of Buddhism not sincere. Being beyond all heavens, hells, and worlds, in the state one only capable of being understood through personal realization of it. The Buddha has therefore not taught of any Father in heaven, nor any only begotten Son, nor of any method of salvation for mankind, save that one save that one, like, woo, I won, by self-exertion leading to the right knowledge. He, as the all Buddha, he, as all Buddhists believe, found the way as the result of innumerable lifetimes of spiritual evolution, and become the fully awakened and enlightened one, exhausting completely the samsara of impertinency and of sorrow. Through his own exertions alone, he reached the goal of all existence. Supramundaneness. Buddhists venerate him, not as Christian do a savior, but a guide in whose footsteps each must tread in truth, is to be realized and salvation attained. Although, as in the Bardo Thodal, there are prayers addressed to higher than human powers, and although all Buddhists pay what is really a short worship to the Buddha, the doctrine of right knowledge through self-development is never quite lost sight of. There is never the almost complete dependence upon outside forces which Christianity inculcates, nor is there anywhere a parallel of Christian belief in the forgiveness of sins through repentance, or faith of a Savior, or through vicarious atonement. Some of the rituals of the Northern Buddhism may seem to suggest a Christian-like theory of the forgiveness and absolution of sins, which more than any other subsidiary doctrines peculiar to Northern Buddhism may possibly yet be shown to have been shaped, if any of the Mayan doctrines have been, by Christianity. But in their last analysis, these rituals really imply, setting aside any possibility transformation due to Christianity, as the whole of Southern Buddhism more clearly teaches, that it is only merit or an equal amount of good karma which can neutralize the same amount of evil karma, as the psychics, two equal, balanced, opposed forces neutralize one another. I'm the only one here. Ha ha ha! You sure are. You waited them out, didn't you? Well, I welcome them, they can go up and look at the channels and see what's up there. I gotta read. I'd love to entertain people and talk, but if you're not talking, I want to read, because this is what I need to do. I'm going to take a break for a moment. That was a lot, and I still have a few more pages to go. 1, 2, 3, about 4 more pages, if that. It's kind of chilly. I'm going to close this door behind me. I'll be right back. It is closed. Give me 1 second. I'm going to throw on an extra pair of pants. It's chilly. I got my PJ pants. And yes, I wear them inside out. If I just had these on, I feel like I was hugging a teddy bear all the time. That's why I wear them inside out. Why should somebody else get to feel the comfort? I want to feel like a teddy bear. Ah, that's much, much warmer. It was getting chilly. Got cold out real quick because the sun went down here. Even my coffee's cold. So I hope you're having a nice night once again. Quantum Revolution Counseling, second video on my thumbs up. Have you seen it? I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I haven't. That doesn't sound familiar, but I will. I'll check it out. I already have you written down, so I'll check you out. I just want to finish this book. That way I have the rest of the night and tomorrow to kind of like get caught up with the videos because I just got that issue fixed with the driver yesterday. But then I've been hanging out with people, and that's kind of got me, I don't know, I think it's because there's lots of good people on those channels, and I'm sensing that, so I want to get those good people in this channel here. So I'm trying my best to get good people in here, people that will help. You know what I mean? And I'm really trying to find those people that like to help, like the Garden Thumb and Chill with Glens, you know, because they're really helpful people. They take the time out to do these hangout sessions like we all like. And you can, I mean, they even taught me about hangouts and, you know, all this other stuff, monetization. Like you can't let anybody, you know, do a holler on your chat, you know. You got to erase that real quick, otherwise they come after you, and you know, then they penalize you for that kind of stuff. And I didn't know that. So yeah, they're really helpful people, and they know a lot, you know. There's some people that know a hell of a whole lot, just like Global Witness, Derek on Global Witness. And those are the people I want in here, because I got a lot of people that I plucked, you know. And that was basically what the channel was until I hit Positive Movement, and I seen all these other like ideas that were spread out a little bit more. And then I thought to myself, well, I need more knowledgeable people like Jeff, and you know, but I need someone who doesn't have as many followers as Jeff, but is knowledgeable and of a higher light. So I found the Garden Thumb, and they are definitely of a higher light. I spoke to them in their hangout section of their show earlier, and it was nice to see that, you know, even though Mrs. Garden Thumb didn't know what I was talking about, but she lived it, you know, she really lived it. And how I know that is because she was talking about a butterfly and how she saved a butterfly because its wings were damaged, and she brought it inside her house to keep it alive, to help it, because even though it couldn't fly, it could still eat and it could still function. And she didn't believe in killing anything, you know, like put it out as misery, the kind of thing. She believed in, you know, giving it a place to live inside her home, so it can roam amongst her garden in her house, these flowers and things that were easy to get to for him. And then she took him out to play, basically took him outside to play, and it made me realize that she is of it. And how because it made me chuckle because somebody made a joke about it, you know, and it really made me chuckle. So I knew that she was of that higher light, but she didn't know what I was talking about whenever I said, you know, what's going on here with me. So I think she was just like born into it, or maybe whenever she was little and she just don't remember her coming out of it. But she's really knowledgeable. I think that she's headed to mastery in this and doesn't even realize that she is, because she lives it. It's natural to her. It's so natural. So like she took offense to my joke about it, you know, and that really shows something. It's, you know, it's not that she was trying to be ignorant, it's that she was trying to stand up for her faith, and she thought I was saying something negative about it. And she's so used to somebody being negative, these normal people coming in, well, that's stupid, you know? Why are you going to take a butterfly out to play, kind of thing? So that's how I know that she's of it, is because she did get offended, you know? And she didn't realize the significance of what she was doing, humble, very humble. And I think that shows me of where I need to be right there. Just like it's so natural that everything else is abnormal. And I really did feel that way up until somebody made a joke about the putting a leash on the butterfly. I was like all into it, into the story, like thinking it was all normal until somebody made that joke. And then I stepped back and looked at it from my negative point of view, like the way I used to be like 2 years ago, and thought about it from a normie's point of view, that's pretty funny kind of thing. And that snapped me out of this, this kind of world here that we're living in right now, to go back to that. So it was really neat to see that. Most people don't have anything to do with absolute truth. You're right. You're right. And to put yourself back into that frame of thought and to see that you were thinking of it normally too kind of shows me how far I've come, from where I was at. But either way, she's of a higher level of lightness, and those are the kind of people that I'm trying really hard to find. And they are one in a million, so it's really hard to find them. So that's what I've been concentrating on this past week, is finding those people, because I haven't had too much time to get on live the way that I would like to, and I had a little bit of time in between, so I thought, why not go and check some other people out, some different people, instead of, like watching the same people in the videos here. And it's not that I'm ignoring anyone, it's that I'm just trying to get channels in here that are of higher standard, so that there's plenty to choose from. So I hope you're not offended, that I haven't took a look yet, but I will. And that's been my intention this entire week, to get on that after I got done with what I was doing there. Which I think I plucked some pretty good people. Fleur Braun is one. She's a spectacular light. I'm happy to have found her. And then there's Mrs. Garden, and let's see, who else is there that's new? Sim H Cooking, I think, or something like that. It's Sim something Cooking. I think it's Sim H Cooking. And she's of a higher light. And there was someone else, and I'm missing it. But even them were hard to find. Because you kind of got to go to these hangout sections and kind of like hit on all these subscribers in there, and kind of like just pluck them out as soon as I see them. I pluck them out. I kind of like just subscribe to them, and kind of like hang out with them, or go to the live shows, and then they'll come here, and then. But I'm just glad that they're in the channels. They don't need to come see me. I just want them to be in my channels, really. That way you guys have a lot to choose from. Hey, Nietzsche. The hell? I can't really see. I'm sorry. Yeah, Nietzsche. Hi, Nietzsche. I'm Nunya. And most people don't want anything to do with absolute truth. Nietzsche comes in to say, not anymore, way. Lots of laughs. And continues to say, hey, Nunya. Well, I am here today just reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead. We're almost done, and we're in the addenda part of it, the yoga. And I came to hang out and kind of just sit here and welcome people to the community here of this part of YouTube. There's a nice little community set in here that I had no idea about until I came to this realization that there's something more in life than just what is. And upon that, I awakened to all this, and it was like different, real different than anything I ever experienced before. It was like an awakening of spirituality, and it is an awakening of spirituality. And there's a lot of people that was going through it through Jeff Daughtry's channel because they were receiving some truth about the Bible, and that opened up our eyes to a lot of people in there in the chat room. So I collected those people, and within those people, I collected other people, and that's how I found my way into this community. I was plucked from it, and I had a bunch of subscribers already, and I was plucked and brought over to Mother Nature's channel and hung out with her. And she gave me a free reading, and that told me that I was on the right path of doing what I'm doing. And so here's your channel. I created it. You know, I was told by Jeff Daughtry that this is what we're supposed to be doing, is creating. So I'm creating myself. I'm creating this channel. So have at all the channels up above. There's lots of goodies up there with tarot card readers and mediums and remote viewers and cooking soul stations and all kinds of stuff. We, the sheep, are guided by the greedy and taught to only follow them and their ideology. Yeah, exactly. That's what this book is entailing right now, is that right there, about Christianity and how it was taken over with the false pretense of your soul. You know, and how even just the slightest little words can change everything within a person's thought. It's kind of like what I'm going through here with this uplifting. So I just decided to take a break from the book and talk to that way and talk to you, because I seen you come in after I was getting ready to read again. So that's where we're at with this book, and I'm sorry that you missed it if you were looking for a reading, but I am going to be picking up. And I do like to read these live because it puts a little bit of a better spin on things, because you can feel my connection. And I'll be reading this book here, The Yoga for Grief Relief. And that, I kind of was drawn there to that book whenever the Hermetica got sent back through the library to the central library because of negative forces not wanting me to see it. But anyway, I got sent back, and I wanted something else to read in the meantime. I wanted to rent something else just in case I would want to read something in the meantime. But in the meantime, I was reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which I was kind of like led there to do that. So now I'm led there to do the yoga book through this book. So that's kind of neat that it's kind of guiding me to what I need to read next, because I was kind of undecided about what to read next. So it kind of clears things up for me. It always does. You know, you just lay it out there and, you know, it happens for you. To understand the Christian faith, you must know this was created by the Romans in way of complete control of the sheeple. Oh, I know all about it, you know. That's why I'm here. I don't like to diverse too much into it because it is negative, and I like to keep the channel positive, you know. That's all BS now, you know, to me. All that's BS now to me. So I'm more along the lines of moving forward. Yeah, I've been lied to, but I'm correcting it with these. I'm correcting it with these. I'm correcting it with the Tao. So all these books are correcting that error that culture had placed in me. And that's where it's truly at, and that's where we all been lied to, is our own culture. We done it to ourselves, really. We laid out the negative, and the negative fed on it. And that's what I truly believe has happened in the world right now. And I do believe that Jeff is right about making a creation, and that positivity will, you know, even itself out here, hopefully. And I do believe it's working, because this community has grown a lot since I've been here, and that's only 3 weeks. So it is working, and it will continue to work. Since the 70s, it's been working, from what I found out within my research of all this. Uh, I do believe in DNA knowledge. My mother, she was reading Dale Carnegie, I think that's his name, Dale Carney, from the 1970s, whenever she was pregnant with me. So I believe that that knowledge went into me and helped me out in my life as far as to the knowledge that we all should have. And that's in these books. The real Bibles. The real the real stuff. And I almost said a cuss word. And I do refrain from cussing on the channel because I do have kids that come on here. And they are my grandchildren. And I do like to teach them the right way of speaking. You know, I don't want them going to school and saying cuss words that they learned online. So I try to keep it real here and family oriented, and try to keep that. I really try to keep a positive thing going. Now, sometimes my own personal life comes into play, you know, because I am on here quite often. And things do happen in real life that create a disturbance in the flow of positivity. And, you know, that does happen on this channel. It happened twice so far from my recollection. Could have happened more than that, and I just don't remember. But the two main ones was twice. Once whenever I was meditating, and once the other day whenever I was sitting here and somebody had to be negative and, you know, go into that negativity instead of complaining about the bar next door and all the shady dealings that happen with the bar, with shooting up drugs and in the alley and pissing in the alley and, you know, throwing glass and breaking glass and squealing off in their cars and honking in the middle of the night. They decide to call on my hubby for parking back behind here in the garage, you know, and there was enough room for cars to get by. He was beyond the trash can. So, and it wasn't the trash guy, because the trash guy wouldn't call on a Sunday. He would call on a weekday during his work hours. So it was one of these neighbors around here who are very negative people who just like to do those things. And it's all how you handle that, you know. Do you hate them or do you love them? Because they're just beings that have been corrupted. So you got to love these people in the long run, because they are misled. And that is a terrible thing, to be misled. That's one of the things that I noticed, that whenever I woke up, that once I started watching Hillary again, which was a few days after I woke up, I happened to see, I think it was the Judicial Watch was talking about Hillary and about her shenanigans in their government and how she's so corrupt, and that there's a lawsuit going and that she's not going to get away with it and all this stuff. And I just felt really bad for her, like terrible for her, because at that point I knew what was coming for these people who are of the negative, because I seen things that other people didn't see, because I was up here and my body was down here in the real world, and my soul was up here in the matrix looking in on it. So I had a different view of that. And I am still up there, and I'm still trying to close that gap. I don't want to use it. I don't want to use my powers until I close that gap. So I highly would suggest to refrain, because I was getting that quite clear from the knowledge to be, that whenever I went into the tarot card reading and I went into the remote viewing, that's 2 times that I tried it, and I didn't want to try it a third, because something was hollering at me to close this gap, because something can get in there. The negative can get in there so quick, and you're not guarded, because you're opening yourself to these powers and you're not grounded yet. So I would suggest refraining from them, learn of them, but don't try them unless you're grounded and your soul is back. All the government is corrupted. Greed. Keep grounded. Yes. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And I missed a comment there. Sorry about that, Nikki. And that was Nikki talking there. Careful of what you say or do. We, the believers, are always ridiculed. Yes, we are, but I'm not going to watch what I say or what I do anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hiding. That's why I took off the bandana and took off the hat and stopped sweating underneath there so badly and came out with my face. It's because I got tired of it. I'm tired of lying to myself, to everyone. The Joe info is here. Hey, Joe. I knew you was observing. I knew that was you. I knew it. I knew I was going to say something too. You will never look at anything the same when you see what I see. How we forget ourselves, lose your way from the cradle to the grave. You can't replicate or duplicate. Gotta find your own way. Yeah, he says. And that is the truth. You gotta find your own way. And that's what I was getting ready to say, was that with all this knowledge that I'm receiving from these books, it's within your own knowledge of what you feel resonates with you and flows with you. It's not about religion. It's just about, what is. What you believe is your own reality. I think I come pretty far, baby. I think you come real far in this whole thing. Back at you, Joe. Appreciate it. I always love hugs and love. You always make me blush. Look at. So I hope that person who left goes and finds something for themselves in the channels. So I'm going to continue reading. Unless, Joe, you want to talk a little, I can take a little bit longer break. I only got like 4 pages. And I'm only 3 hours in. But I'm here. If you want to talk. You too, Nikki. Is it Nietzsche or Nikki? Say 1 or 2. Nietzsche for 1, Nikki for 2. Because it looks like it says Nietzsche, as in 1. Nietzsche, thank you. That's what I had. That's what I was thinking. That's what it looked like. Boy, this book has really prepared me for pronunciations. Because there is lots of tongue twisters in there and lots of names. And all these names are foreign to me. Except for Dalai Lama and the Buddha. Even the Buddhahood is new to me. And I love that. I can't get enough of saying Buddhahood. I'm going to make up that song, I swear. I want to make up a song that is in me so much. Okay, so if no one has any more comments, I am going to go ahead and read. And I don't know where I left off, so I'll just go back to the beginning of this. So we'll have 5 pages. That way I'm familiar with where I was at. The goalposts keep moving. Been listening. Says Joe. Okay, again, as elsewhere stated, Buddhism denies that there can be a permanent, unchanging personal entity such as Christian theology calls soul. It also denies the possibility of reaching a state of eternal felicity within the samsara, i.e., the universe of phenomena, or reality or nirvana, is for all schools of Buddhism nonsensoric, being beyond all heavens, hells, and worlds, in states only capable of being understood through personal realization of it. What you were just talking about, Joe. The Buddha has therefore not taught of any Father in heaven, nor any only begotten Son, nor any method of salvation for mankind save that one, by self-exertion, leading to right knowledge. He, as all Buddhists believe, found the way as a result of innumerable lifetimes of spiritual evolution and became the fully awakened, the enlightened one, exhausting completely the samsara of impermanency and of sorrow. Through his own exertions alone, he reached the goal of existence, supramundancy, supramundaneness. Buddhists venerate him not as Christians do Savior, but as a guide, in whose footsteps each must tread if truth is to be realized and salvation attained. Out. Although, as the Bardo Thadal, there are prayers addressed to higher than human powers, and although all Buddhists pray what is really a sort of worship to the Buddha, the doctrine of right knowledge through self-development is never quite lost sight of. There is never the almost complete dependence upon outside forces from Christianity inculcates, nor is there anywhere a parallel to the Christian belief in the forgiveness of sins through repentance or faith in a Savior or through vicarious atonement. Some of the rituals of Northern Buddhism may seem to suggest a Christian-like theory of the forgiveness and absolution of sins, which more than any other subsidiary doctrine peculiar to the North Buddhism may possibly yet be shown to have been shaped, if any, of the Mahayana doctrines have been by Christianity. But in their last analysis, these rituals really imply setting aside any possible transformation due to Christianity, as the whole Southern Buddhism more clearly teaches that it is only merit or an equal amount of good karma, which can neutralize the same amount of evil karma as in physics. Two equally balanced opposing forces neutralize one another. We were just talking about that. But as in all religions, so in Buddhism, there is an apt to be very wide divergency between original teachings and actual doctrines and practices. And accordingly, the Bardo Thadal as a ritual treatise is no exception. Nevertheless, underneath the symbolism of the Bardo Thadal, there are to be discovered, by those who have eyes to see, the essential teachings of the Northern Buddhism, sometimes called the contrast of the Southern Buddhism, the higher Buddhism. We're going into the medieval Christian judgment of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Denda. And we have 1, 2, 3 pages left. Any comments? Good. In connection with the difficult problem of origins, referred to as the part of the introduction concerning the judgment and of the probable influences of Buddhism and other Oriental faiths, including the Assyrian faith, on the Christianity, it is interesting to compare with the Bardo Thadal versions of the judgment. The similar version in the medieval treatise entitled The Lamentation of the Dying Creature date uncertainly uncertain, but probable to the 14th and 15th century, contained in the British Museum. M.S. Harrell, 1706. Comper's Ed, it says, and it goes on to these other pages that to look through, and I don't want to go back or get lost in what I'm reading. I do that whenever I have to go to another page, so I'm going to skip that. The dying creature, enset with sickness, incurable soulfully complaineth him thus: Alas, that ever I sinned in my life. To me it come this day of dreadfulest tidings that ever I heard. Here hath been with me a sergeant of arms, whose name is cruelty, from the King of all kings, Lord of all lords, and Judge of all judges, lying on me the mace of his office, saying unto me, I arrest thee and warn thee to make ready. The judge that shall sit upon thee, he will not be partial, nor he will not corrupt with goods, but he will minister the three justice and equality and equity. He will minister the three justice and equity. The lamentation of the dying creatures, quote, the little colons, 2 colons. Alas, alas, excuse me, I cannot. And whom I might desire to speak for me, I wot, i.e., no, not. The day and time is so dreadful, the judge is so rightful. Mine enemies be so evil, my kin, my neighbors, my friends, my servants, be not favorable to me, and I won't, they shall not be heard there. The complaint of the dying creature to the good angels, semicolon. O my good angel, to whom our Lord took me to keep, where be thee now? Methinketh ye shall be here, and answer me. For the dread of death distroubleth me, so that I cannot answer myself. Here is my bad angel ready, and one of my chief assessors, with legions of fiends with them. And I have no creature to answer for me. Alas, it is a heavy case. The answer of the good angel to the dying creature, semicolon. As to your bad deeds, I was never consenting. I saw your neutral inclination, more disposed to be ruled by your bad angel than by me. Howbeit, ye cannot excuse you. But when ye were proposed to do anything that was contrary to the commandments of God, I failed not to remember, i.e., remind you that it is not well, and counsel thee to flee the place of peril, and the company that should stir or move you thereto. Can ye say nay thereto? How can you think that I should answer for you? Through the dying creature appeals for assistance to reason, to dread, to consequence, and to 5 wits, very much after the manner of every man. Probably the best known of the medieval Christian mystery plays, which seem to be the outcome of the spread of Orientalism into Europe. None can secure him. Thence, in his final appeal to the Virgin through faith, hope, and charity as mediators, and in the Virgin resulting appeal to the Son, there is introduced the Christian doctrine of forgiveness of sins and an opposition to the doctrine of karma as expounded by the Bardo Thadal. Such introduction suggests that the curious Christian version of the judgment may possibly have had a pre-Christian and non-Jewish Oriental source, wherein the doctrine of karma and the correlated doctrine of rebirth remained unmodified by the European medievalism, which shaped the lamination of the dying creature, which we read there at the beginning of this reading here, right before, the page before. The ancient doctrine of karma, to which the primitive or Gnostic Christian adhered, or church council Christianity, took shape, being taught in the following answers of the dying creatures gives some plausibility, even the internal evidence, to this purely tentative view. Conscience, in the quote, the Cohens, ye must sorrow and meekly suffer the judgments that ye have deserved. Therefore, of the five wits, therefore, of your necessity, your defaults must be laid upon you. Wherefore, the right of pearl must be yours. Also compare the similar account of the judgment in the Orologium Sapientia, 14th century, chapter 5, in Daus MS, Comper Z, from which the following passage is taken. O thou most righteous doomsman, how strat and hard be thy dooms, charging, i.e. excusing, and hard deeming me, wretched in those things in which the few folk charge and dread, forasmuch as they seem small and little. O thee dreadful sight of the righteous justice, that is now present to me by dread, and suddenly to come indeed. Reference might also be made to the wall painting of the Judgment of Caldon Church, Surrey, England, dating from about 1200 AD, and discovering in 1870, which parallels in a very striking manner our Tibetan painting of the Judgment. Thus, in both paintings, there is the judging of the dead in the intermediate or the Bardo state, the heaven world being above and the hell world below. In the Caldon Christianized version, Saint Michael is placed in Sinji, holds the scales instead of karmic actions. Souls are being weighed. The 6 karmic paths leading to the 6 lokas have become a single ladder leading to a single heaven. At the top of the ladder, in place of the 6 Buddhas and the 6 lokas, there is the Christian waiting to welcome the righteous, the sun being shown on his right hand, and the moon his left, as though he were a Buddha. In the hell world, in both versions, where is the cauldron in which evildoers are being cooked under the supervision of demons, and in the Christianized version, the hill of spikes of the Buddhism version is represented by a bridge of spikes, which the condemned souls are compelled to traverse. All such parallels of these trend to strengthen our opinion to the greater part of the symbolism nowadays regarded as being particular Christian or Jewish seems to be due to the adaptation of the Egyptian and Eastern religions. They suggest, too, that the thought forms and thought processes of the Orient, of the Occident, are fundamentally much alike, that despite differences of race, creed, and the physical and social environment, the nations of mankind are and have been since time immemorial, mentally and spiritually one. The end. Woo! Can't believe I finished that. That was worse than the Tao. As far as reading, tongue twisters, words I don't know, names that are hard to pronounce, and foreign, and words that are foreign, that look foreign, but you know you've seen them, and then you know what there are, but they're just not coming to you because you have everything just... You know, I didn't say it. I said shh. And you knew what I meant. This, to me, in my own opinion, was still on the Christian faith. What? Nietzsche says, this, to me, in my own opinion, was still on the Christian faith. Well, actually, this does have a little bit of Christian in it from what I was reading, because that was the faith back in the day of whenever they were doing this. Apparently, it seems like it kind of came into play, and they're actually saying that the Christian side of things kind of took its own theory and kind of went in a different way than what the writings were, is what I'm getting from this read. But I'm going to reread it later at a different time, because I mainly read this because it was in my library, and it's about passing over, and something happened in my life to where I needed to read this, and to a person, and I thought, what better way than to put it live and to read it live, because they could probably hear me, and others can hear me that are trained, that are out there and that are trying to find their way through the Bardo. And I like the Tao myself, but then I do like this for information because it's all in culture. You know, you go back to the beginning, I think, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go back, way back, before the Bible, before Christianity, just to see what's there, and then kind of take it back into Christianity, because that is part of our culture, and it did kind of mimic way back the before, the difference in between what Christian was then in the medieval days. Things kind of in the Christianity faith changed to a more dishonest side of things, in my eyes. But before that, there was a feel of this in there, the Buddha and all that. So Christianity just kind of like took the Buddha into its own. And I'd be interested in that, in a way, because it's all history and it's all culture, and the more we get educated with our culture and see what has happened in it to make us change our ways from the original teachings, kind of open me up a little bit more and more each time, and bring me closer and closer to closing that gap there and bringing me up here, you know, to where I'm not grounded anymore. I'm like a little girl scolded. I'm grounded. Hey man, you got gravity. They said there would be gravity here, says Joe. And Nietzsche responds after her comment with if we put aside our bias, many cultures have a father, yeah, a son, and a spirit, and an evil one, yeah, exactly. And I'm just kind of going into the past to see where that came from. So that's why I'm reading all these older books, so I can see the art of war as well. It probably has something about this in there, I would imagine, because it's an old book that, you know your enemy, because they're probably reading that book. I can tell you that, The Art of War. But anywho, that's why I'm reading all these older books, is so I can get educated about, because I never really delved in this stuff, and it's all pretty interesting to me because I'm going through all this, and it helps in knowing what was, kind of like in school, you know, where things are a little bit more self-explanatory if you know the history of things, but I wasn't very much in the history back then, but now I am, and I'm eating it up, so. But you don't have to listen. If it's not your flavor, go find your own flavor. That's what this is all about, is finding your own flavor. There is the Egyptian Book of the Dead I'll be reading next, because I'm interested in the whole alien theory. Like, I never researched that yet, so I want to dig into that because somebody brought that to me. Somebody dear to me brought that theory up, the whole alien thing. And that was the second person that told me to read the Egyptian of the Dead, so I'm going to do that and see what's in there. But I'm going to be doing this yoga book first. The yoga book, Grief Relief, and take that on and get involved in yoga so that I can get closer to the meditative state. So, for the understanding of this world and the creations of all things, we may ascend if we know where we start. That's the way I'm taking it, Nietzsche, is that because it seemed like whenever I found out the truth about things and I had my experience, so I'm taking it as that. So that's why I keep reading these books, is because it keeps closing that gap for me, and it feels good to close that gap because the thoughts involved is kind of nutty. You look nuts and you look like you're all wigged out on some kind of drug like heroin or something odd, and yeah, and that brings concerns to people who love you, and so it's nice to be a little bit more centered than where I was at from the start 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm just giving you a little bit of time to respond if you want to, because I know that there's lag here. And if I go too far into the conversation, then I'll forget what was being asked and forget what was being talked about. Because, like I said, lots of thoughts in there, especially after I read. I'm thinking about what I just read and how it relates to my own personal self and how it can conjoin in. And I better shut up because I'll forget what we were talking about. Ever since I was a child, I felt there was supposed to be more than what I was told or lied to. Yeah, me too. And I felt like, I felt like I was in store for something better, like I was put on a list and I'm just waiting for it, kind of thing. And here this happened, so that's why I was all game to jump aboard it. I'm just like, heck, I've been waiting for it my whole life. I recognize it for what it is, so why not? Just woo! So that's why I was all gung ho about it. Enoch is the good one also. The fallen angel explained, says Joe Info. The Enoch. Is that in the Egyptian? that I'm getting ready to do here after yoga, huh, Joe? You giving me a sneak preview? You trying to help me out? I know you are. I know I heard that name, and I know I heard the Leak Project talked about that name, and Jeff talked about that name, Enoch. So I'm thinking Enoch sounds like an alien name. Please tell me I'm right. Please? Because I am excited about that Egyptian book that now that I'm done with the Tibetan. I want to see the difference, and I'm curious as all heck. But I do need to read the Hermetica with R. Wayne Steiger, which shouldn't be too long. I think there was like 4 or 5 videos, and I already watched them, so I can get prepared to read this book, so I can retain it better and understand it. 2, it's a quicker way for me to read a book, and since Wayne had already read it on live, some of it, then I figure I may as well utilize that than to try it on my own. Well, I guess you two have this room, so I will bow out and let you have your time. Nice read, Nunya. Peace. Well, I appreciate coming, Nietzsche. And you don't have to leave on me and Joe account. We're used to hanging out and chilling and talking. But yeah, if you're tired and if you want to leave, yeah, go for it. Just make sure you check out the channels up above because they're all helpful in this. And they all will help you. All these people, not a lot of people, not everyone, because they all have. Some of those have like 200-300 subscribers, if not more, and they have a lot of people that come into chat, and it's kind of hard for them to notice everybody. But there are smaller ones in there that you can go into and chat. Like Analytical Mystic does tarot cards, and afterwards she like chills a little, and so does Mother Nature. She has like a party. You go party with her and have a dance club with her. That's what I did with Mother Nature. It was kind of fun, and there's all sorts of people up there, so go check them out, and I think they'll help you. I was getting ready to send her my love, but she left, which I'm glad that she came. It was really nice that she came and found some things out for herself. And hopefully, she learned some more, because that's what this is all about. Right, Joe? Wow. Another 4 hours. These books are long and detailed, I do gotta say. And I'm glad I'm done with that one. That was really on my mind to get done with that one. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Been drinking lots of coffee and it's acidy. I'm done. I'm done with trying to pronounce words. Acidity. I can't do it. Acid. I still can't do it. I'm trying to say acidity. There, I did it. Ooh. Well, that was a good read, and that was a good chill, and I got to meet lots of newcomers, Joe. Lots of newcomers came through today. So I'm glad I was here to welcome them. And I don't know what you all know. What happened. It just seems like it's been a big blur. People coming in and out, and me reading and doing everything. That was a good book, and it did explain a lot as far as what we are and who we are and where we get our powers and how it's done and what we do after death and what it is exactly that I'm doing. As far as to, I don't think that you were, maybe you was, yeah, you was, for the whole, like I was humming thing, and how that came into play in this book. That was kind of neat to know that, and the reason why I done that. All this was very neat. The whole book was very neat. I'm gonna have to put an end on this title, the ending, because it is done, my friend. It is done. Finally. So I am going to hop off and go to the bathroom and see what my family's up to in there. Been gone for like 4 hours now. They're probably wondering what happened to me. And I will bid you adieu, Joe. I love you. Thank you very much for coming. Once again, I always enjoy your support, especially whenever there's a new person in the room, because I feel somewhat connected to people like you, and it gives me the courage to say what I have to say and to overcome obstacles like, you know, like the whole Christianity thing that she was saying, how that is part of Christianity, but it's not, kind of thing. It helps, like, your knowledge is feeding into me, kind of, I guess you could say, your words as well. So I appreciate it. You too, Joe, and I love you. Have fun and everything. And I thank you, because that was very hard with Nietzsche. Because it's kind of like, I think she may have been doubting a little of what it is I'm doing and what it is I'm trying to say. And you being there kind of helped me form that into words, because it gave me courage, because I felt your connection in the room the entire time that you were there. So I appreciate it, and I thank you very much. And this is what I love about you and about, other people like you, like Jerry and Bruce and Just a Human and Johan and all, Glenn and everybody. You guys are such a big help whenever it comes to helping the helper. Because this is hard to put yourself out there, and it's hard to get these words into formation whenever you're learning them, and to have that knowledge connection with people like you and, people that I know, that I've seen before. Like I said, I think that I know you guys from a different life, and like I'm connected, and that connection goes deep. It goes into knowledge as well, and that helps me form what I'm trying to say. And I said it, and that's the best way I can say, to you. Thank you for being here, Joe. And hey, second wheel. And they left. I love whenever that happens. Whoop, nope. So, Joe, I'm going to get off before anybody else appears. I love you. Wish you an adieu of a night. An adieu. The best night ever. And thank you so much for being here and helping me through this reading tonight. I appreciate it. And I will see you next time. And have fun. Be safe. And everything that you do.